Tonight I'm going to leave Rafael dos Anjos in a pool of his own blood. He's going to leave the octagon in a stretcher, and I'm going to leave the octagon with 10 pounds of gold around my waist.
I think I have the experience advantage on this fight, and I can't wait to shut his mouth.
Tonight is my night. It's my day. It's my time.
I am the best Robert Whittaker come to date. This is going to be my testament of all my hard work, and I'm not going to let this go.
Yes, the wait is over. A good evening to you from Chicago, where the atmosphere has been festive, the buzz palpable all week long. Tonight, this outstanding fight town gets its first taste of a UFC pay-per-view. Live from United Center in Chicago, Illinois, USA, this is UFC 225, Whittaker versus Romero 2. Sponsored by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. Closed captioning is available for tonight's telecast. The broadcast is also available in Spanish, brought to you by UFCEspanol.com. Great to be inside United Center here in Chicago tonight. I'm John Anik. Thank you for being with us for UFC 225. As many of you know, the UFC has really made its presence felt in Australia over the last decade. It seemed only a matter of time that an Aussie would become a UFC champion. And of course, to the surprise of no one down under, Robert Whittaker was the first man to break through. Tonight, this 27-year-old undisputed UFC middleweight champion looks to further strengthen his legacy with a second consecutive win over one Yoel Romero. Thrilled to welcome in Joe Rogan and Jimmy Smith. So an eventful weigh-in day, guys. As usual, Yoel Romero failed on the scale, which makes our main event a non-title affair tonight.
Very disappointing. We should point out that it was not his decision. The commission pulled him away from his weight cut with more than an hour to go. They decided it was too much. It's very possible that in other commissions he would have been allowed to continue and would have made the weight. It was 0.2, so it's a very small amount that he missed it by.
Yeah, last time he didn't make weight, though. He knocked out Luke Rockhold, still very, very dangerous.
So before we spin it forward to the rematch, first a quick look back at the first fight. It was UFC 213, July 8th of 2017. This was a pick'em fight according to Las Vegas. Very close on paper. Yoel Romero got off to a good start early, landed 3 of his first 10 takedown attempts, but late it was largely Robert Whittaker's significant strikes, a decided advantage. The takedown defense held up, and at the end of 25 competitive minutes, Robert Whittaker became the UFC's interim middleweight champion. He was later promoted to become the undisputed champ, and he's got another big one in front of him tonight.
He's not just a champion, ladies and gentlemen. He's a young man with a tremendous amount of potential and still getting better. He doesn't want to be just the middleweight champion. He wants to be the best of all time. That is his goal, and he has an air of greatness about him. But he has an opponent in front of him tonight that is one some of the most explosive, outstanding wrestlers to ever compete in MMA.
Yoel Romero, you can talk all day about the wrestling credentials. There have been other gold medalists in wrestling who have competed in the UFC. They didn't have this guy's offense, his explosiveness, his timing, his athleticism, and let's not forget his, in my opinion, underrated defense. Luke Rockhold considered it like hitting a guy who was made of steel. Very hard to solve this guy's offensive and defensive riddle. He's an outstanding fighter.
Yoel Romero, this was the scene Friday morning at the weigh-in at the hotel. 2 ounces over on his second attempt. And Joe, you got a first-hand look at him at the ceremonial weigh-in. How'd he look to you?
He did not look good. He looked drained. He looked tired. But we're talking about a guy that's used to this. He did this his entire career as a wrestler.
Right.
He did this his entire career as an MMA fighter. He'll be fine tonight. But even if he wins, he will not get the title.
All right, well, the good news is in our co-main event, there is a championship on the line. Rafael dos Anjos' Jimmy, Colby Covington for the UFC's interim welterweight title.
Let's start off with the comparatively quiet killer, Rafael dos Anjos. Moving up to 170 pounds at 155, more of a one-punch knockout guy. At 170, I like his combinations, his versatility, his willingness to work the body and the head, always aggressive against Neil Magny. We saw his leg kicks, his submission game once he's on top. He is absolutely lethal and brimming with confidence right now at the welterweight division. He is one of the best.
Colby Covington is not just a great fighter, he's a tremendous trash talker, and he puts a lot of emotional weight on his opponents because of that. But make no mistake about it, this man is talented, and his victory over Damian Maia shows that. He's relentless, he has fantastic cardio, a great wrestling base, constantly improving striking, and you can't overstate how important his trash talking is. He makes people so angry, and that anger could lead to emotions, and that can lead to bad decisions in the heat of battle.
We will see if Rafael dos Anjos can check those emotions here tonight against the big game player Colby Covington, who gets his first crack at a UFC title here tonight. All right, first fight we will see on pay-per-view tonight, gentlemen. CM Punk here in his hometown of Chicago will try to produce his first UFC win against the also 0-1 Mike the Truth Jackson.
Yeah.
You first. You go ahead, buddy.
Listen, I admire that he wants to do this. It's a very difficult pursuit, and what I like about this fight is he's fighting someone of commensurate talent.
And his opponent, though, Mike Jackson, dismissive of him. He says, a win for me is a win for MMA. I'm the more legit guy. I have the better skills. I can beat it in boxing. I can beat it in kickboxing. I'm going to go out here and knock him out. Both of these fighters tonight under tremendous pressure. That can't be denied.
All right, we'll see how it goes shortly. Mike Jackson and CM Punk in the pay-per-view opener. Let's get you the rules of the Octagon now. 3 judges score the fight. The bout duration is 3 5-minute rounds. For championship fights and all main events, we go 5 5-minute rounds. A 10-point must-scoring system is in effect. Round winner gets 10 points, his or her opponent 9 or fewer. And scoring is based on effective striking and grappling, followed by aggression, and then Octagon control in that order. Also, the Illinois Athletic Commission has adopted the new unified rules of MMA. We'll also have instant replay available tonight, but only to look at a fight-ending sequence. Once replay is used, that particular fight cannot be restarted. The fighters have been made aware. Just about ready to go here. He has starred in other arenas for years, but there is no bigger event for CM Punk than tonight's hometown showcase, his second and most important UFC start against the talented Texas striker, Mike Jackson. Early knockdown for Mickey Gall.
He's already got the arm trapped with his right leg, and this could be it right here.
Not quite under the chin, he is there. Mickey Gall submits Mike Jackson.
Man, making your pro debut in the UFC, it's something that you can't really prepare yourself for. I want to get back in there, because I'm ready to show. I'm not just an 0-1 MMA fighter who lost to Mickey Gall.
Mickey Gall shoots a double immediately and has CM Punk on his back. Gall with some big shots from the top right away. He's got that arm under the neck now. I think that's it. That's it.
My first fight, Mickey Gall was the better guy, So it's just like, do you walk away from that and just say, good job. To me, I want to get better. My main motivation is just the drive. I'm not chasing money. I mean, if anything, you could say I'm chasing glory because I'm chasing that W. It's my second fight, and I got a lot to prove, you know, and I'm going to prove it to myself and my team. You're about to see a more experienced CM Punk.
So many people were looking at CM Punk the moment he made his Octagon debut. And the pressure and all those eyes on him got to him. Coming this fight against Mike Jackson, it's can he show the UFC fans what he's been training for? Both of these guys are trying to prove themselves to the fans.
It'd be easy to quit and walk away, but I've kind of never done the easy thing. To me, the harder I work, the bigger the victory.
You have an amateur fighter stepping in the cage against a professional. In the short period of time that he's been training, he can't get to the level that I am currently at.
I feel like I can't lose with that hometown advantage. I want to get this win for the entire city of Chicago. I've grown leaps and bounds, and I have gained a ton of experience and knowledge, and I will bring that in the cage, and I will defeat Mike Jackson.
So here is Mike the Truth Jackson making the walk for his second UFC appearance here tonight. First since a February 2016 setback against Mickey Gall. That was a short notice fight. Now, Joe, he told us Thursday that CM Punk called him a can, and that was his primary motivation. He's like, dude, you've never fought. You're calling me a can. Mike Jackson gets a big opportunity tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's a silly thing to say, but I guess CM Punk is still, a lot of his thing is in pro wrestling hype mode. This guy's 4-0 as a pro boxer, 1-0 as a kickboxer, 0-1 as a mixed martial arts fighter, which is exactly what CM Punk is. The difference being this guy has a lot more combat sports experience, both in terms of training and in terms of competing.
But the one thing he talked about was his time away from the sport. He said, when I fought last time, in 2 years, I'd only gone to a few classes. I hadn't really been pursuing it that much. The consistency of being a professional in the sport, that's what he's been lacking. He's had moments where he's gotten ready for pro fights. The consistency of MMA is a comparatively recent thing for him. He needs to learn a lot tonight and show everything he has, especially on the feet. That's where he feels he has the advantage.
Well, he certainly has way more experience, both in amateur and professional. He's also 2011 Houston Golden Gloves champion. So he's got striking experience for sure, a lot more than CM Punk does.
And he does have 9 amateur MMA fights to his credit. And by the way, the UFC Hall of Famer Pat Miletich firmly in his corner here tonight. Deserves ain't got nothing to do with it. Those the words of one CM Punk, who makes the walk for his second UFC appearance here tonight. He says his nerves are far more amplified this time around, not just because he's in Chicago, but because he knows what he is getting himself into here tonight.
Well, now he's been there, done that, and he's had plenty of time to improve, and you could not ask for a better camp. I mean, he trains with Duke Rufus. He's in there with Ben Askren, Anthony Pettis. I mean, the best of the best. He's got fantastic training, fantastic coaching, and he's got the will and the desire. What you got to admire about this guy is he's willing to go in there and not just do it once, but try to improve, come back, and do it again. And we're going to see tonight how much he's learned and how much he's grown.
He said the first time around, I wasn't nervous enough. I didn't feel a lot of nerves coming in. Now I feel that juice. How often do you see at this level of MMA, main card, pay-per-view, 2 guys who the loser probably never fights again? They're fighting for their promotional life. That's something you don't see at this level. The loser becomes a meme. You become a joke. No one wants to be that. That's who he's fighting to keep from becoming.
If they weren't going to be a meme before, they are now.
Yeah, 100%.
Jimmy asked him, Joe, on Thursday, what's your one go-to? And he said, I'm strong in the clinch. My teammates tell me as much. And he feels like if he can get the body lock and get this fight to the ground, that would present his biggest advantage in the fight.
I agree. I think if he has an advantage, it will be in that. I think he's better as a grappler than he is as a striker. But let's be honest, he's a beginner at both.
Right. Very true. CM Punk's primary training partner, Craig Eckelberger, a guy who you've seen corner Paul Felder, ruthless for CM Punk, trying to come up large tonight. This Tale of the Tape is brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. CM Punk, 39 years old. Mike Jackson, 33. Jackson, the taller man by 1 inch. Jackson will also have a 1-inch reach advantage. All right, now to get us the official introductions for this pay-per-view opener, here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the United Center in Chicago, Illinois, for UFC 225, Whittaker versus Romero 2, presented by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. And now, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a striker holding a professional record, no wins, 1 loss. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 170.5 pounds. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, Mike the Truth Jackson. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a mixed martial artist, holding a professional record. No wins, 1 loss. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing in at 169 pounds. Fighting out of Chicago, Illinois, CM Punk. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Kevin McDonald.
Kevin McDonald, our referee for this one. The beautiful Ariane Celeste on hand as usual for one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year. The CM Punk chants raining down in his home arena. Tonight's fight clock is brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. Punk is in black, Mike Jackson in white, and we are underway.
He looks calm on the feet. I like what I'm seeing. Nice leg kick by CM Punk.
Watch that spin, though.
Oh, Mike has a very good jab. Oh, there's a nice right hand over the top by Jackson. CM is there for it. He's got to be very careful. That's what he wants. Close the distance. Don't stand the outside with this guy. Oh, he landed a right hand. Look at this.
This is where Punk wanted to fight.
Nice knee to the body by Punk.
Now we'll see if Punk can let the training and the skills take over here in the clinch.
We're just going to call him Punk.
I mean, I don't know.
Punk works for me. I mean, kind of my last name.
Listen to the crowd. They're getting into this. Look, if he has an advantage, I believe the advantage will be on the ground. I think on his feet, he's kind of a sitting duck. Mike Jackson has skills on the feet. He really does. I mean, he's a very good boxer.
Jackson's been calling him Phil Brooks all week. He said, I'm not fighting the fictional character of the WWE superstar. There we go. Separation.
See, in this place, CM's in trouble. I mean, he keeps going to the well with that right leg kick. Mike has very crisp hands. Look at that. Pop, pop.
He's got some hand speed, too. Jackson able to break away. About 90 seconds gone by here in round 1 of a possible 3.
Mike Jackson thought he would have a decisive advantage on the feet, that he would crack him and finish him.
He just touched him with that right hand.
He's landed a few. But Punk so far going through him.
Well, he's tough. Yep. I mean, look, he has to be tough to take this fight. And to be able to do this in the UFC, in the pay-per-view. I mean, this is crazy to have a second fight like this.
There are 2 times it's okay to lose a fight. Kind of. In the beginning when no one's watching, and at the end when no one cares. Okay, when you're fighting in the middle of nowhere, you get like 4-2 record, it's no big deal. Or you have such a big name, you can just come back from it. CM Punk didn't get either one of those. He came in under a huge spotlight. That's not easy.
And he came in without a real martial arts background. It's not like Brock Lesnar, who was a fantastic wrestler before he ever did pro wrestling. Right. You're talking about a guy who's just a good athlete. Nice knee to the body there by Punk.
This fight has already gone longer than CM Punk's UFC debut against Mickey Gall.
Or Mike Jackson's UFC debut against Mickey Gall. Both guys got smushed by Mickey.
Studying this fight took about 4 minutes.
Looking for the takedown.
Jackson able to stay upright, a good sign for him.
CM again going to that single.
He knows his comfort zone and he's trying to get there. He's trying to stay tenacious with these takedown positions, the clinch, the single leg. That's so important in your early fights. Get to where you're comfortable. Over the top of those arms isn't going to help him.
Under 2 minutes here to go in round one.
It's these exchanges in the middle that Phil's got to be careful with, because this is where he can get clipped.
Punk mixing in a kick there for good measure. The takedown defense for Jackson is held up.
Wild and open with those punches.
Yeah, and that's where he's got to have a problem. He has the shot, stuffed again.
But he's setting him up with hands.
He's also not powering through. He's reaching, they're touching each other, and then he stops the pressure.
When you watch high-level wrestlers, I mean, Olympics, All-Americans, that second and third effort, they go in and then if there's a second and third effort there in that double leg or that body clinch, CM Punk doesn't have that, just doesn't have the experience.
He's getting real loose with his hands too, real sloppy. Just dropping, and Mike could set him up here. If he can keep it in the center here and put some pressure on him, make him open up. Oh, look at this, look at this!
There's the takedown for CM Punk.
Step over. CM Punk might have just won his first round in the UFC.
Well, right. I mean, Jackson busted CM Punk up with the jab, but this could secure the round for CM Punk.
Yeah, look at this. He's landed a couple of shots on the ground. If he can keep it here. Darts. Go for the darts.
Didn't get close with it.
No. Oh, good shot to the liver by Jackson.
Final 10 seconds of the round.
Clean break. He looks exhausted.
5 minutes down. Tonight's corner game is brought to you by Body Armor. Make the switch to Body Armor, the official sports drink of UFC. More natural, better sports drink. Grab one today at 7-Eleven.
Big breath, buddy. Okay, you're doing good. Good to see you guys. All right, here we go. Breathe. All right, listen to me.
I got it.
All right, drink water, bud. Okay, you're doing good. Keep going to the right hand. Now you gotta start pummeling inside to get your underhooks, okay? Okay. And bounce and pull him off the cage when you're there, okay? Let's not worry about the kick so much. Let's focus on hands, body lock, breathe. Good job.
And there we see Mike with that jab.
You need those, okay?
And there's a nice right to the body, right over the top. There's that jab again. And there's a takedown. There's a big moment in CM Punk's career. And there's a big elbow at the end of the round, though. But the fact that he was able to get that takedown and get it late in the round, that's big. He wasn't able to hold him there, but I think that's where he needs to fight this fight.
And Duke Roufus softly saying, let's not worry about the kick so much, instead of saying, do not throw another kick.
Throw that thing, because the turn on that is very, very slow. It's really turn when you do that. He's not doing that fast enough. They're worried about the right hand of Mike Jackson.
That front kick up the middle is good. This is not good. Standing on the outside like this, Mike is just so much more refined. Look at this, takedown attempt again. This time Mike stuffs it.
He's getting out-pummeled against the fence every time. He's ending up here with both arms over. You want both arms underneath the armpits with the underhooks.
He just stepped away.
Yep.
Jackson has gotten the better of the exchanges on the feet.
But he's a far more polished boxer. When you're seeing it in his movement, he's very relaxed, he's not tired. And if he can keep this fight going, Punk is going to get more and more tired.
That hurt him. That's a big right hand.
This could be it right here.
And now Jackson with an elbow on top.
He's stiffened up there in a very disturbing way. Oh, look at this, though.
Going hard for the guillotine, but his hands aren't in the right position.
But Jackson screwed up in letting him clinch and hold like this. Because either way, now they're on the ground. And this is not what Jackson wanted. I mean, he was tuning them up on the feet. And now he's on top, on the ground. And we'll see what kind of guard Phil has, but at the very least, he's safer here than he was on the feet. On the feet, he was in that weird place where he was just going to get hit.
But we're also seeing a guy whose gas tank is rapidly emptying on his back. Another guy's on top of you, incredibly fatiguing, don't have the experience to really draw on in these tough positions.
Right, but the guy on top is not good at this. This is not his spot. I mean, Mike Jackson's a really good boxer, but he's not like a world-class jiu-jitsu player who's going to smash you and put crazy bodyweight pressure on you. Look, he's not even putting any pressure on him.
But CM Punk not drawing him in with the legs or using anything from the bottom either.
That's true. And Jackson did catch him with a good punch there.
He can still hit from here.
He's so relaxed though. Look at it. It just seems like this is easy for him.
Well, I think in some respects he's trying to prove a point with his body language, showboating a little bit. Let's check in with Duke Rufus in the corner of 1 CM.
2.5 minutes, bud. Sweep, sweep, sweep.
Nice.
There you go. Good.
Don't punch, Punk. Fight.
Don't punch from your back.
They're saying don't punch from your back.
Use a
triangle. Triangle.
One of the only things he's able to do from here.
Push the arm in, buddy. Grab it. Come on.
Oh, look at, he's not even looking at him.
He's just throwing easily.
He's being silly. He's like having a good time in there. CM's all busted up now. A lot of blood.
Well, Jackson knew when CM Punk was getting a second UFC fight that he was going to be the opponent. This one made official about 6 weeks ago.
Didn't have control of the head.
He didn't, but we don't know what kind of defense Mike Jackson has.
Defense, to me, as an instinct, if you have any, it's just easier, General. All right, bring my elbows in and get my head up. The offense requires those little details that so far CM Punk hasn't shown.
90 seconds now to go in round 2. Jackson working inside the closed guard of CM Punk.
Well, I would like to see Punk separate his legs, try to get his feet on hips, and get out of there. Because this is not good. He's not showing any inclination to sweep. He's just getting hit with punches. This is just
dead legs. Dead leg, not drawing him in, not being active, foot on the hip.
Right, and again, this is not a guy with tremendous. Here he goes. Just try. Just move, get out of there. Hip escape, shrimp out, white belt 101 stuff. Come on.
We're talking basics, Joe. We're talking basic. Shrimp your hips.
Well, it's not
Lock
like
your legs up under the armpits if you want a submission. It's simple stuff, and he's not going for it.
It's not like he's being held here.
No,
in
not
an
at all.
impossible way. Look at this. There's no pressure. Mike Jackson's postured up, and CM Punk's legs are the only thing keeping him in that position. Let those legs go. Put your hands on the mat. Scoot back. You're getting hit with shots anyway.
We're in serious 10-8 territory, by the way, score-wise.
I'm sure.
Jackson's just teeing off easily.
But again, this is the criticism of this fight, is that you're dealing with a guy who really does not have a full repertoire, a full toolbox of MMA techniques.
There are two kinds of mixed martial artists, essentially, guys that come in with a specific background and guys that start young and learn everything. CM Punk not either one of those categories, right?
Yeah.
Final seconds of this second round. It has been a dominant one for Mike Jackson.
All right, sit down, Punk. There you go. Good. Breathe. Sit down. There you go. Breathe. Listen to me. We need the takedown early right away this round, all right?
Say it again.
Take down early this round, but let's get going with the 1-2. Throw that 1-2.
Now you're gonna peel tight angles, open him up, right?
Slow it down.
Tight angles now. Tight angles.
Your nose out through your mouth.
Man, you're piecing him up. Let's keep busting him open, and I want you active. I want you mobile this round, okay? But you do damage anytime you can. I don't want you playing around inside his guard this round, okay?
This is where he gets desperate. You know that.
He's going to go for that takedown hard, man. Expect it. So I need you mobile. Keep busting him up. Do not stand in front of him. Stay off the fence.
Breathe.
I gotta eat, Mike.
Open him up.
Let's go.
Mike Jackson was very calm. Like, look at him. Relaxed, loose.
The UFC 225 Whittaker versus Romero 2 is presented by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. A lot of fight fans wondered if we'd get here. Third and final round, CM Punk and Mike Jackson. Jackson, the 2-1 favorite coming in. Both fighters in search of their first professional MMA win.
There's that jab again. Mike Jackson. CM Punk with the clinch. Very nicely done. See if Jackson can keep him off. Jackson just standing so straight. It's almost like he's just disdainful of any takedown attempts.
Oh, he's daring CM Punk to come and get the body lock, and every time he does, he pummels inside and breaks it.
Yeah. I mean, it really is what he said, a professional against an amateur. And certainly by the amount of damage that he's been able to do. That's true.
And Jackson was adamant in saying there are limitations to CM Punk's growth, and largely I think a lot of what he said has come to fruition here tonight. Just because he's a hard worker, that doesn't close any of those gaps.
Hard work is not good enough because he's not this amazing athlete. It's not like he's a spectacular running back that has just incredible fast twitch muscle fibers, learns everything quickly, just really good athlete, and then you teach him MMA techniques and he can smash people. That's not what you're dealing with here. He's got, oh man,
Kevin McDonald.
He's a sitting duck here. Look at this though. He's got heart though, man. You got to give it up to the dude. He has got heart.
Big left from Mike Jackson.
That might be the beginning of the end. That was a guy flopping back who doesn't have much left.
I would like Mike to just get off. Yeah, stand back. Let him stand up.
Go up, come on.
So will this be the beginning of the end? You can see referee Kevin McDonald is really watching this action closely.
And he should.
To try to potentially protect CM Punk, who lands a left hand there.
Mike is just, I mean, if he'd be more serious about this instead of being so relaxed and playful, I think he could take him out.
If he turned over the right hand, he'd get him out of there.
Oh, he just tagged him. But he's relaxed. Where he's not taking this serious. It's almost like he's carrying him.
Yeah, well, the offense of CM Punk hasn't gotten any respect, so he's not worried about the clinch, not worried about the punches, so he can stay relaxed. It's fun being a better fighter.
Yeah,
that's what we're seeing right now.
There's a little bit of that, but there's no urgency to stop him. And I feel like he should have that. Look, if I was a conspiratorially minded man, I would think that someone paid Mike to keep this fight going for 3 solid rounds.
Don't talk, Joe.
That's what I would say.
Oh my God.
Well, if I was the kind of guy,
I'm gonna get tweets about this for the next year. I appreciate that, Joe. Thanks.
I just feel like he could open up here. There it is.
Oh man. I think he's just being cocky, and he was. But in the interview, he was cocky and dismissive. This isn't anything different than what he told us he was going to do.
Right.
So that I think is counter. He told it, "I'm better. I'm just going to toy with him." And so far, he has.
They can stop this right now. They can stop this right now. I mean, you got to give Punk credit for his heart.
And you wonder what the end game is for Mike Jackson. We asked him that, and if you take him at his word that he wants to have another fight in the UFC, this is a fighter he's got to get out of there.
Look at this. Tried to roll into a knee bar, but didn't have the legs in position. Now he's on the bottom. Minute 30 to go.
There are times, unfortunately, when heart just means a longer beating. And right now, he hasn't shown the offense to get back into this fight.
Yeah, there's too many people watch Rocky movies.
Yeah. That fight would have been stopped in like round 3. I got news for you.
You ain't Rocky, bro.
That was horrible refereeing. Should be the name of that movie, by the way. Horrible refereeing.
There's so many people that saw that movie like, I could take it too. But
Jackson could be 1 strike away at any time here. Just over a minute to go.
But again, I'm not diminishing CM Punk's heart and courage because I am impressed by it. I really am.
He's doing everything he can. He could have quit in between rounds, and a lot of people would have understood that. But
I mean, he's trying. He is trying.
Jackson not in any rush or urgent to try to get Punk out of there.
No, he's very casual and relaxed, and I mean, it looks like he's kind of having a fun time in there, not getting too excited about anything. I mean, look at even there. He just punched him. He's kind of like tapping him.
Under 30 seconds now to go.
I mean, I would really like to see Mike step up, separate, and try to finish this fight on the feet. I think he has a good shot of doing that there. And just going to a decision here, I mean, it's a foregone conclusion.
I think he stays right here.
No,
10
you
seconds.
Win.
Where's my money?
You might be the only one who wins here.
Thank you.
Here we go. and Phil lands on top. It's a bit of a moral victory for him.
So CM Punk and Mike Jackson mercifully go the distance here tonight. And perhaps those 15 minutes will help scratch the itch for CM Punk if the UFC debut did not.
Yeah, I mean, I personally wouldn't want to see him in again. I mean, Mike Jackson, you couldn't find a replay here that wasn't Mike Jackson hitting CM Punk virtually at will. We pointed it out many times that you could have got him out there if he turned over a few more of these punches, but never in danger, not even looking at him with the ground and pound. No answer for the jab, no answer for the right hand. Mike Jackson show for 15 minutes.
Yeah, he stiffened him up a couple of times. One time in particular, we thought it might be over. But he chose to just be relaxed and casual. I was just joking about the conspiracies earlier, folks.
Right.
Don't think I really think that he fixed the fight.
No, we're still going to get the tweets, though.
Get tweets no matter what you do. I'm going to go talk to these guys.
Well, a lot of respect for CM Punk, seemingly in defeat here tonight. Showing at least some toughness and heart. And for Mike Jackson, we'll see if this indeed leads him to another UFC fight before we close the book on 2018. You see the Hall of Famer Pat Miletich there, and you wonder what Miletich's inner monologue was at times cornering in a fight like this.
And also, we don't have any background on Mike Jackson. Some fighters get ahead and they coast, some get ahead and finish you. We don't know if he's the kind of fighter who gets ahead and coasts, because that's what he did tonight.
All right, the official decision is brought to you by Metro PCS, bringing you closer than ever to the UFC on a fast nationwide LTE network. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. All 3 judges scored this contest 30-26 for the winner by unanimous decision, Mike the Truth Jackson.
I'm here with the winner, Mike Jackson, also the first guy to ever take a selfie while getting his hand raised. Phil, we're going to talk to you too, man. Mike, first of all, congratulations on your first UFC victory. What was it like leading up to this fight, the press and all the craziness that was attached to this, and what did it mean to you to win?
First and foremost, Jalen Cash, mijo, te amo mucho, papi. Estamos aquí. But as far as the preparations, like it was amazing. The media, that's my thing. That's what I do. You know, I work as a journalist as well, so I know what it takes to get into all that. It was cool. I dig it.
You looked very calm and relaxed in there, and even when you had him in trouble, you showed no urgency. You were in complete control, but also very calm. Why is that?
That's my thing. I'm a laid-back kind of dude. Unfortunately, Illinois doesn't allow the marijuana, so I wasn't as cool and calm as I wanted to be, but you know, it is what it is.
Listen, Mike, congratulations on a dominant performance. Will you now continue?
Hey, I'm going to talk to Uncle Dana, Kansas Mick and Shine, see what we can do next. If not in the UFC Octagon, maybe Zuffa Boxing.
Congratulations.
Real quick. To all the bums, bigots, and haters who prayed on my downfall, you should have prayed harder. Your God wasn't listening. Wakanda forever.
Mike Jackson, ladies and gentlemen.
So Mike the Truth Jackson busts into the UFC win column tonight. A prohibitive favorite. He takes care of CM Punk. Well, what a great sports town. There is the general manager of the Chicago Cubs, the Bostonian Theo Epstein, president of baseball operations. And there is the 2016 World Series champion, Chris Bryant, also in the building for UFC 225 here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen in attendance here in Chicago, Illinois, and those watching around the world, on Thursday, July 5th, we will be in Las Vegas, Nevada, at which time the UFC Hall of Fame will open its doors to a most deserving inductee.
Every now and again, you get an athlete that transcends sport, that transcends gender, that just stands for something so much bigger.
I remember telling other people at the time, I think there's this woman out there that's going to be a game changer.
An Olympian, someone who has such an infectious personality, You could not ignore the rise of Ronda Rousey.
A lot of us started to see some of the footage on Ronda, ripping off arms left and right.
She's like Hoist Gracie, the girl version, you know? She went in there and just took out everybody.
She was just the armbar queen.
She had this X factor, a little bit of a chip on her shoulder, a little anger that she had, a little swagger that she had in there.
So when Dana said women will never fight in the UFC, he never met Ronda Rousey.
Bring the champ out here. I'm gonna make it official right now. The first ever UFC Women's Champion, Ronda Rousey.
Just to see a female holding that title was just a groundbreaking moment.
She'll be fighting Liz Carmouche, and she is the main event.
This is a gigantic cultural moment, Mike, and this is not just a moment for Ronda Rousey. This is a moment for women's sports, period.
It was a huge marker in history for women, for MMA.
Once again, first round armbar finish for the champion.
And I know from that fight, things gonna be big.
When you watch Ronda Rousey fight, it seems like some sort of historical event that you have the privilege of watching live.
I remember the intensity of her walk. It just scared people.
She had the music, she had the scowl, she had that anger on her face.
She had a skill set that no one else could handle.
She just really got the job done. The minute she grabbed you, you were going for a ride.
And a big throwdown.
She was fighting the absolute best in the world and just burning through them.
Just like that.
Oh my God.
Gene LaBelle will walk out there with a clock, and he would time it.
16 seconds, 14 seconds.
Ronda Rousey successfully defended this belt 6 times, finishes every step of the way. It is a run of greatness that isn't going to be duplicated anytime soon.
The attention that Ronda brought to the sport was unprecedented.
She wasn't just getting the MMA media outlets talking, she really was a crossover star.
She was on the cover of every magazine, doing way more media than I think anybody can even imagine.
Ronda Rousey was mainstream. She was a world phenomenon.
She was an A-lister in entertainment, period. Everybody knew who she was. Everyone knew what she did. She inspired so many people, so many young women.
She took that status that she earned and tried to do something even greater with it.
She's changed the way that we look at women, she's changed the way that women look at themselves, and she's definitely changed the way that little girls look at what's possible.
The things that she did for the sport and for women's fighting in general. Now, if my daughter decides she wants to fight, there's a platform.
Her impact is going to be felt for years and years to come. She broke down barriers. She said, we will not be dismissed anymore.
After I saw Ronda make it to the UFC, I realized dreams can come true and I can make fighting 100% my career.
I saw like a light in the tunnel that I can do this too in the future.
Not only did she kick open the door, bring the other women behind her, but she put the sport and the divisions on her back, and she brought it to a new level. She brought it to the level that it's at today.
The biggest event ever, and it's headlined and co-headlined by women.
She had the rivals along the way, she had competitors that pushed her and helped her get to another level, but she did this.
She made it so that there was no boundaries between men and women in this sport. We were all fighters.
She showed us how big MMA could be.
When you talk about pioneers, there is no one who is a bigger pioneer of mixed martial arts than Ronda Rousey.
Ronda's future is whatever Ronda wants her future to be. But I guarantee you this, she will be great at it.
Thank you so much for everyone coming out and the passion and everything. Even the people that booed me, thank you for the noise. The people that cheered me, I like you even more. Thank you.
So how about it? The former UFC Women's Bantamweight Champion Ronda Rousey will headline the UFC Hall of Fame class of 2018. Joe, this was an eventuality. This is as richly deserved as any Hall of Fame inductee ever.
She's essentially the female version of Hoist Gracie. Hoist Gracie changed martial arts with his appearances in the early UFC, changed people's perceptions of what fighting is. She did that for women, 100%. She put MMA on a far bigger map than anybody before her. And part of the reason why Conor became so big and people became so big after her is because of her. Because she got people into the sport that had no idea what it even was before. Young girls that had no desire to watch men fight each other, but they saw this beautiful woman throwing people on their back and armbarring them, and they're like, this is crazy. And she was running through the division. I mean, a pioneer like no other.
You go out on Halloween, you got 10 Ronda Rousey, little girls dressing up as Ronda Rousey. What an indelible imprint on mixed martial arts. We congratulate our final inductee, Ronda Rousey, and you can join us as we honor the prestigious 2018 class. The Hall of Fame induction ceremony goes down Thursday, July 5th from Las Vegas inside the Pearl at the Palms Casino Resort. Tickets go on sale this Friday, June 15th at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at Ticketmaster.com. All ticket proceeds will go towards 3 Square Food Bank. Don't miss this signature event to begin International Fight Week. UFC 225, Whittaker versus Romero 2 is brought to you by Modelo Especial. Since 1925, we've proved that it doesn't matter where you come from, it matters what you're made of. Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit. Metro PCS, bringing you closer than ever to the UFC, putting knockout coverage in your hands by covering 99% of people in the US. And by Grunt Style, this we will defend. The main event fighter arrivals are brought to you by Harley-Davidson. See your dealer today and learn to ride like some of your favorite UFC fighters with Harley-Davidson Riding Academy. Live your legend. And there is the undisputed UFC middleweight champion, Robert Whittaker. 8 consecutive wins spanning 3 years gave Australia and New Zealand its first UFC champion. Tonight, hungry and healthy, Whittaker returns to the octagon against a familiar foe, the #1 contender, Yoel Romero. This man has beaten everyone the UFC has put in front of him except for the man he draws tonight. But after a crucial weight miss early on Friday, Romero finds himself in a non-title affair tonight. Back inside United Center here in Chicago, and right back to the live action, old school versus new school here at heavyweight. And after a spectacular start to his UFC career, Australian phenom Tai Tuivasa now faces his biggest test to date. But Andrei Arlovski determined to make sure Bam Bam has a long flight back home. Unbeaten Australian sensation Tai Tuivasa has traveled from down under to compete in the United States for the first time. And he will have a formidable foe across the octagon as he draws former UFC heavyweight champion Andrei Arlovski.
I'm very excited about the fight tonight, and I'm very excited to fight in my hometown. And I had a great camp. I have great coaches in my corner, so I'm ready to go.
I think it's going to be a good fight between me and Andre because he's a legend of the sport. You know, he's been around forever, and I'm supposed to be the up-and-comer, so I think it's going to be a great matchup.
An affable Aussie outside of competition, Tai Tuivasa provides everything UFC fans want from their heavyweights: an aggressive style and fight-finishing power. Tonight, after knocking out Rashad Coulter and Cyril Asker in his first 2 UFC bouts, he tackles one of the sport's best.
We've both got something to prove. Andre is, still around, and he's trying to prove that he's still meant to be here in the game, and I'm here to prove that I'm the up-and-comer, and I'm here to take over.
A longtime favorite in Chicago, Andrei Arlovski, for one reason or another, has never competed in his adopted hometown as a UFC fighter. But after returning to the heavyweight title picture on the strength of back-to-back wins over Junior Albini and Stefan Struve, the Pitbull will get his wish when he takes on rising star Tuivasa.
My personal goal to be a champion again in the UFC, so that's why I have to leave everything inside the octagon tonight and move forward.
Titanic, Joe Rogan, to get emotional. Right?
It's just, I feel like I'm flying.
I watched this with my daughters recently.
So
walkout song for this guy.
Well, if you know the colorful Tai Tuivasa, you wouldn't put this past him.
Look at him sing. He's a character. He is quite a character.
I mean, just wait till this thing crescendos. He's going to go off. As for the fighter, though, Jimmy, pretty darn good so far. 9-0 in MMA, 9 first-round knockouts, including 2 in the UFC.
Yeah, blasted Cyril Asker in Perth. And Rashad Coulter blasted his leg. And look at this flying knee. Whenever I see a heavyweight, you have to look beyond, oh, they hit hard. All heavyweights hit hard. It's part of being a heavyweight. What do they do other heavyweights don't do? This dude's explosive for his build. He is fast. He is athletic. Don't let that stomach fool you. This guy can explode with a lot of power a lot quicker than you'd expect. That's what I love about him.
Yeah, underneath that fat, there's a lot of muscle for sure. He can explode, and he's got a full set of skills. His striking is outstanding, his accuracy, his timing. He's a real bad dude.
Tyson Pedro, UFC light heavyweight, wrote an article about Tai Tuivasa and sort of chronicled his upbringing in Western Sydney and his fighting on the streets. This guy was knocking people out cold, and because he had to defend himself in a lot of perilous situations, he felt like he might as well do this professionally because he realized all of that success. And we've seen him tighten things up physically too. I mean, you talked a little bit about his frame, but looks a lot different than he did when he made his UFC debut against Rashad Coulter last November.
And he's only 25.
Right.
I mean, this kid's 9-0, 25 years old, and banging people out.
Hates to train, loves to eat, but make no mistake about it, he is a big game player. When the lights shine bright, Tuivasa does his best work. Tonight, he's a -240 favorite against the former champion, Andrei Arlovski. The Police Academy graduate Andrei Arlovski waving the flag of the Chicago Police Department. UFC appearance number 26 for Arlovski here tonight. Joe, you've been octagon side for a lot of them, and doubt this man at your own peril. Comes in with 2 consecutive wins here.
I've been octagon side for him back when he was a champ, when he knocked out Paul Buentello with one piston of a right hand. He's been a bad man for a long time. And people count him out, and when you count him out, shockingly, he comes back into the octagon and shows he can still do it. He did that against Travis Brown. A lot of people like Travis Brown's a top flight heavyweight, young guy, terrifying knockout artist. Arlovski puts him to sleep in 1 round. He's still got power, and he's still got desire, and he's still learning and growing, which is one of the more interesting things about it.
What I think he's added against Stephen Struve, all the gifts you're talking about, smart fight, went to the takedown. It's a big guy with real power. What did he do? He fought like a veteran, so experience, that IQ, very high. It's going to be a factor in this fight.
And he's not just fighting for money. Andrei Arlovski loves this sport. He loves to compete. It means everything to him. He fights because he loves it.
That's a very important point. 4th fight inside a year for Andrei Arlovski here tonight. This Tail the Tape is brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. Arlovski, 39 years old. Tuivasa still just 25. Arlovski, the taller man by 1 inch. He will have a 2-inch reach advantage. All right, now for the introductions. Back inside to Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC heavyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a street fighter holding an undefeated professional record, 9 wins, no losses. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 261 pounds. Fighting out of West Sydney, New South Wales, Australia, Bam Bam Tuivasa. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 27 wins, 15 losses, 1 no contest. He stands 6 feet 3 inches tall, weighing in at 249 pounds. Fighting out of Chicago, Illinois, our referee in charge, Rob Madrigal.
Rob Madrigal, our referee. Pro MMA fight number 44 for Andrei Arlovski. Brittany Palmer, thank you very much. Arlovski's UFC debut, November 17th in 2000.
Right, Ty, you ready?
Andre,
you ready?
Let's go. Aaron Brink. Tonight's fight clock is brought to you by Modelo Especial Brew with the fighting spirit since 1925. Tuivasa in green, Arlovski in black.
I'm old enough to have sparred with Aaron Brink. How back I go?
Very interesting that Tuivasa is the favorite coming into this fight, which shows you how high people are in this young man's potential.
But once again, every time he overlooked Andrei Arlovski, slick, that's when he's at his best.
Exactly. And he rises to the occasion. He knows that people think that it's over for him, and he wants to prove them wrong. He did in the Stefan Struve fight.
And in the Junior Albini fight before that, and he said in both of those fights, I stuck to Mike Brown's game plan. Leg kicks, combinations, staying disciplined. Will be interesting to see if he can extend Tuivasa here tonight. As we mentioned, Tuivasa has never seen a second round in pro MMA.
And that is huge for a guy who's seen championship rounds. He's seen just about everything in the sport. That's one dude, drag the young buck into places he's never been before. Deep water, see if this guy can swim.
The schedule that Arlovski has kept up at 39 years old is incredible. And fighting 15-minute fights, competitive heavyweight fights. He's as respected as any veteran in this sport by his peers.
Yeah, the fact that this is his fourth fight in a year is really incredible.
Cracked him with that jab. And also, he's not a slow, plodding heavyweight either. He's kind of relied on the fact that he's quick, he's comparatively athletic, and that doesn't usually hold up at his age. He's doing extremely well. Oh, right to full mount.
On top. This is terrible for Arlovski.
Well, I think maybe Arlovski's going for that double hook throw and just got caught. He went right down.
Yeah.
Arlovski came in with the #1 takedown defense in heavyweight history, near 83%.
Yeah, this is just a mistake. And he's trying to hip up and buck him over the top, but Tuivasa put the stop on that.
And this is a guy, let's not forget, Tuivasa, who cuts to the heavyweight limit. This is a big heavyweight. He showed UFC Embedded he was eating octopus and greens to try and make 265.
Oh, he'll do 15,000 calories after this fight tonight.
There is a ton of blood on Arlovski's neck from Tuivasa.
Right.
Arlovski's just stalling here.
He's going to burn his arms out doing this too.
Yep.
He just doesn't want to get dropped on.
Okay, Ty, you got to do something here.
And Tuivasa, right now, not really showing the ground experience to put his hips forward and get his arms out either.
Interesting. Let's see how the referee handles this, because he just said, Ty, you got to do something here, but his arms are tied up and he's in full mount. I hope he doesn't stand this up.
Got it
when
free.
the guy's, look at this. And he's up. Tuivasa's cut bad, and I'm not sure what that was from.
Still about 2 minutes here to go in the round. Oh! Knockdown for Tuivasa.
Wow, lets him up. That's a young man with a lot of confidence in his striking.
And Arlovski looking for the takedown. Almost gets it if it wasn't for the cage. Where's the knees?
Don't expect a veteran to stand and bang with you when he's hurt. He went right for the clinch and the takedown. Even if he doesn't get it, he's going to clear his head.
There's the knees. One of the body there by Arlovski, and he steps away. Tuivasa's going to have a hard time seeing out of that right eye. And Arlovski, being the veteran that he is, look for that left hook.
Looking for Arlovski right now to slow this fight down. Got stung. He has the guy cut. Might go to his first, second round. Doesn't want to walk into anything stupid right now.
Tuivasa, very good athlete, former rugby player in his native Australia. One of 3 Aussies here on pay-per-view tonight.
Oh, big shot by Tuivasa.
Complete on my poke.
Oh, cracking right from Tuivasa over the top.
Oh, Arlovski with the right hand.
Arlovsky with a quick check on the clock, eats an elbow.
Arlovsky so far much more willing to engage in a striking battle than I would have expected going into this fight. He's content to stand and bang.
I think he wants to prove a point.
So it looks like Tuivasa will see a second round for the first time.
Stop! Can't call it if I didn't see it, man.
Tonight's Corner Cam is brought to you by Body Armor. Make the switch to Body Armor, the official sports drink of UFC. More natural, better sports drink. Grab one today at 7-Eleven.
The referee said something to Arlovsky. I can't call it if I didn't see it. I don't know what that was in reference to.
I was the eye poke. He turned to him and said, I got eye poke, and the ref went, keep fighting. I think that's what he's referring to.
I promise you, Ty, I promise you this doesn't get harder. That was his hardest round. Okay? I need you to do singles. Okay? When he rushes in, I want the uppercut. Okay? Okay? Do singles and to your right. Okay? Every time you're hurting him, he's ducking to do a double clinch. Okay? So feint. You've got to feint and do singles. Okay? Breathe, brother, breathe. Big breath, Ty. Good. Switch back on. You got your second win. It won't be harder than this one.
Here we go. You hurt him.
Round 2. Unfamiliar territory for Tai Tuivasa. He outlanded his first two UFC opponents 60-13. Now coming off a competitive round against Andrei Arlovsky.
Round 2, let's go!
Both men trying to run their UFC winning streak to 3. Tuivasa in green, Arlovsky in black.
Gas just isn't about time or how hard you're working. It's about how much adversity you're facing in a fight. And Tuivasa cut for the first time in his UFC career, certainly. Faced a little adversity for the first time in his UFC career. That might take a lot of gas out of him too, and that's where Arlovsky's waiting on. How does this kid handle a little bit of physical pressure, a little bit of adversity?
Arlovsky experiencing a career renaissance that few expected he could realize. 1 minute gone by here in round 2. Arlovsky ate a couple shots there. He has a son, Andre, and another boy coming this way.
A couple good right hands there by Arlovsky.
Very active. One about Tuivasa's chin. He spars with Mark Hunt consistently and has for years. The fact that he's alive means you can take a shot.
Ooh.
Oh, but that's a lot of them.
Arlovsky with a nice 1-2 there. And Tuivasa eats it.
Arlovsky starting to mix it up and find his range here midway through round 2.
A lot more boxing than he did with Stefan Struve.
Well, he's not dealing with that ridiculous reach advantage
7 feet
has over everybody. Tuivasa bleeding out the nose now quite a bit and keeps blowing it, which is what they tell you to never do.
Make your eyes swell up horribly.
Tuivasa in the clinch.
Tuivasa also recently becoming a father, and Tyson Pedro has said that is really what flipped the switch for Tuivasa in terms of the conditioning and the overall approach to the MMA game. Left hook for Tuivasa is there.
And a right hand from Arlovsky.
Arlovsky's punches so far in this fight, in those little exchanges when they're close, are a little bit tighter. They're a little bit more accurate than Tuivasa, but Tuivasa got in.
And he just popped him with a double jab. Good footwork there by Arlovsky. Take an angle after the punch. Big wind up there.
Stinging right hand there from Tai Tuivasa as we approach the 2-minute mark here in round 2.
And that's something Arlovsky wants to avoid. He's just putting his hands up and kind of trying to weather the storm. He's got to move an angle out. He does not want to stand in front of Tuivasa, even with his hands up. This kid hits too hard.
Cardio and the output both holding up for Tai Tuivasa.
Oh, that at least took him off balance. Might have hurt him. I think most of those he blocked, but he was in need of a rest. And he decided to try to block things rather than get out of there, just to conserve energy.
And he stumbled for a second.
There's often those moments in a fight where a fighter has to gauge his ability to recover. Looking for the takedown, he gets it.
Well, I'm surprised he didn't press a little more and stay low for the takedown.
Tuivasa's face is busted up.
Nasty cut on the bridge of that nose.
He poked him.
Pausing the action here due to an inadvertent eye poke.
Second one.
Yep.
We'll take a look at it here.
So let me take a look at the track.
Nick! Really just sort of grazed it. It's more of a slap than anything. Wait a minute. It seems like he's wincing the other eye.
He got poked.
Which eye? Wait a minute. So play that back again, because he's saying it's his right eye. But if I'm correct, it seems like was that the eye he was pawing at? Yeah, it was.
He got slapped on the right side, but I don't see any poke there.
No, it's a slap.
He just slapped him.
Yeah.
Let's go. Ty, just watch your fingers, okay? It's the warning.
Speaking of veteran moves,
yeah,
he's looking for a break there.
Let's go.
All right, less than a minute now in this second round. Arlovsky came in with 16 UFC heavyweight wins.
Tuivasa with a nice check left hook.
One of the issues so far in this fight is they're both having their moments. Arlovsky's wearing them a little bit better. Tuivasa, to your point, Joe, looks like a mess. I mean, they're both landing good punches, but Tuivasa really, really busted up. Arlovsky a little bit too, but it's going to influence the judging for sure.
And this is, again, as you said earlier, this is a new experience for Tuivasa. Into the second round, looking for the third.
Wayward spinning back fist attempt by Arlovsky. Tuivasa unable to capitalize. 10 minutes down.
More boxing than a lot of us would have thought. Andrei Arlovsky throwing some vintage combinations, staying behind the jab, straight, accurate, doing very well with the jab and the right hand, throwing good combinations, moving in well. Tuivasa, though, we knew he had power. He's been showing it here a lot of times with that left hook, the right hand inside,
and maybe
very effective punches for him.
Right, he's going to back up with his hands down, spinning back fist, finish with a high kick. Hey, let's go, calf kick. Calf kick's there. Calf kick, spinning back fist. Hey, if you get your foot sweeps, you got to stay on top of him. Give him pressure, make him uncomfortable. Get that takedown. Hey, we got to win this round. Might be 1-1. We got to win this round.
Seconds out.
See the blood.
Let's go. Seconds out. Come on, guys.
Fight fans, check out the UFC store on your mobile device. Get your favorite fighter gear and more. Shop now and receive 15% off during tonight's fight. Use code UFC225 and start saving today. All right, third and final round here. Andrei Arlovsky and Tai Tuivasa. Mike Brown repeatedly calling for the spinning back fist out of his pupil. Andre chants here in his adopted hometown of Chicago, Illinois. Nice short right hand for Tuivasa.
Andrei's really telegraphing that right hand. He doesn't throw it like he used to. It's more of a looping punch now. Back in the day, it was a clean, straight punch.
His straight right was invisible back then, so quick.
And I wonder if it's shoulder problems, like what's causing him to change how he throws it. Stiffness.
Tuivasa, undefeated in MMA, does have some pro boxing experience, 5-2 with 3 knockouts. Looked like that left hand from Arlovsky landed. Numbers pretty close in this one. Slight edge for Andre in that last round.
Problem is, Tai Tuivasa tends to step in with power shots, not a ton of setup. They tend to be power punches, and a veteran like Arlovsky is able to see a lot of those coming in. Just like that. Not a lot of jabs, not a lot of trickery, not a lot of shoulder feints or arm feints. No faking for the takedown. It's right in on the power shot, and the jab can stop that coming in.
Watch your heads, guys. Tuivasa biting down his mouthpiece now. He's trying to make something happen. Much more urgency coming out of him.
There's a new cut on his nose, though, or it opened up because suddenly a torrent of blood down his nose.
Well, no denying the potential of Tuivasa. This is still a developing fighter, 25 years old, went to the elbow there. A lot of time to add wrinkles and layers to his MMA game.
And, you know, he's answering some questions tonight. He's still throwing in round 3, hasn't looked exhausted, still comparatively light on his feet.
Eating some very good shots, showed a great chin.
There's no quitting this kid.
But so far, Andre is getting the better of these exchanges.
We have crossed the midpoint now of this third and final round. Arlovsky goes high, just misses. 2 minutes.
I think it might come down to who wants this fight more, who's going to put more in these last 2 minutes.
Good left hook by Tuivasa.
Big shot.
Counter off the right hand. Andre's got his mouth wide open. Oh, ate another left hook. Tuivasa with an elbow on the top.
Staggered him.
Trouble. Tuivasa coming on here. He stunned him with that last right hand.
Arlovsky hanging tough.
It could quite easily be 1-1 right now. Tuivasa finishes strong. He might be able to win this fight. Who knows what's on the judges' scorecards.
Arlovsky mixing it up well.
Yep. Well, as you mentioned, Jimmy, the condition of Tuivasa, very good side. He ate a stiff jab there.
Beautiful jab by Arlovsky.
Still showing some funk. He'll do something tricky. I'm just so impressed with Andre Arlovsky going toe-to-toe with this young heavy hitter as long as he has. That's incredible. No fear, no backing down.
Nice check advantage of that.
Arlovsky 18 seconds away from going the distance for a 4th consecutive time here in the UFC.
And how about his conditioning? He was light on his feet in the 3rd round, 39 years old. Hit him with a left hook there.
Celebrating a little early.
They don't do that. Don't do that.
So Andre Arlovsky and Tai Tuivasa go the distance tonight here in Chicago. Competitive fight that seemingly could go either fighter's way.
Very close fight. Very close fight. I mean, I'd like to look at the numbers of actual shots landed.
Unofficial, but slight edge for Tuivasa, at least in terms of the significant strikes, 69-61.
There's a nice jab by Arlovsky, the right hand over the top. There's a good left hook by Tuivasa that dropped Arlovsky. A little bit of that was cross feet. He definitely landed the shot, but the feet were out of position. There's a nice jab by Tuivasa. Look, elbow over the top by Tuivasa. Either way, what this was a great test for a young lion to face an old warrior that still has a lot of gas in the tank.
And while you like a quick knockout, Jimmy, a valuable 15 minutes for Tai Tuivasa. Let's show you some of the numbers. Head strikes advantage Tuivasa. Slight edge in terms of the body strikes. Arlovsky worked the lower half pretty well. Another one of those fights in which you're glad you're not a judge.
Good, close rounds, close fight. And this was a master's class for Tuivasa fighting Andrei Arlovski. Great fight for him. Just a matter of who came out on top. That's up to the judges.
To that end, the official decision is brought to you by Metro PCS, bringing you closer than ever to the UFC on a fast nationwide LTE network. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. All 3 judges scored this bout 29-28 for the winner by unanimous decision, Ty Bam Bam Tuivasa.
I'm here with the winner, Ty Tuivasa. First of all, Ty, congratulations on the biggest win of your career and a very tough fight with a real old veteran in Andrei Arlovski. Give us your thoughts on the fight.
I said when I got the fight, I said it's an honor to fight Andrei. And Andrei, we fucking put a mad show on, brother. Thank you.
This was a long fight for you, a tough fight against a guy with a lot of experience. How much did that affect you during the fight? How much were you learning during the fight?
Massive learning curve for me. But finally, I can shut a few people up and say, fucking, what if it goes to the second round, you know what I mean?
Well, you certainly did go the full distance, and you did it with a guy who's been there and done that with some of the very best in the world.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that performance. Obviously, I was coming out for the knockout, but, you know, sometimes it doesn't happen, especially against a tough opponent like that who's fighting in front of his own crowd.
Well, Ty, for a guy like you, 24 years of age, you have massive amounts of potential, and a fight like this is critical for your learning and for your development. Congratulations on a huge win, and we look forward to seeing you again inside the octagon.
Thank you very much. One more thing. Can you do the honors and lend me your shoe?
I'm not lending you my shoe. You're going to have to do that with somebody else, bro. I got to walk around that thing. I know how you guys do that. That's disgusting. He drinks beer out of shoes, folks.
I'm about to do one now. Western Sydney. Ash. Hey. My Dilly Billy, I'm coming home. My baby Brody, I love you.
Ty Tuivasa, ladies and gentlemen.
Cue the shoeies. Ty Tuivasa is 10-0. You are not getting Joe Rogan's left shoe here tonight. Let's see if Tuivasa, right to the shoe. Fill it with beer. And watch him just take this right to the dome, Jimmy.
Well, you spit in it first. That's the drink. You spit in it, fill it with beer, and then drink it out of the shoe in one go.
I mean, you see how he just opens that throat?
Just all master. One shot. It was like other people would take a shot. He just drank the entire beer.
How about the Hall of Famers in the building tonight? The prodigy BJ Penn alongside Matt Hughes here in Chicago, Illinois tonight.
I just don't understand how that became a tradition. Well, can I borrow your shoe? What? What are you talking about?
Well, as many fans know, Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series was a huge hit in Season 1. Season 2 coming your way 3 days from now, June 12th, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, live and exclusive on UFC Fight Pass. Here is the way the card shakes out. Greg Hardy and Austin Lane, middle of your screen. 2 former NFL pass rushers going head-to-head. And then Alonzo Menafield and Deshaun Boatwright in the 3-round featured bout in the light heavyweight division. I'm being told Ty Tuivasa wants another shoey, and why not? Dude's going to be blasted by the time he gets back to the locker room. Actually, probably not.
He's telling that guy to drink it, and the guy's like, I'm going to drink it. He's like, all right.
No, he's saying spit in it.
Oh,
it's not a shoey until you spit in it, because it's not disgusting enough.
I can't do this. You're talking to a guy who hosted Fear Factor. And I'm like, enough.
UFC 225 Whittaker versus Romero 2 is presented by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. Nice shot there of the iconic Chicago skyline. And now on to a very intriguing fight in the UFC women's featherweight division. Megan Anderson's UFC career begins right here and now. What an opportunity in front of the Aussie. She draws the former UFC women's bantamweight champion, the Preacher's daughter, Holly Holm. Former Invicta FC featherweight champion Megan Anderson makes her long-awaited UFC debut tonight as she takes on former UFC bantamweight queen Holly Holm in a bout that is expected to jolt the weight class and put the winner in the race for a shot at the belt.
I definitely want to fight for the title. It's a fight that I've always wanted. I've been a huge fan of Chris, and I respect her, and I definitely want to fight her, and I think getting a win tonight helps me in my case towards that goal.
I think Megan's tough. I think she's mentally tough. I think she's physically strong. So I think that she's going to come with a lot of things that can, create problems, but I am ready to shut all those things down.
One of the rising stars in the sport, Megan Anderson began her career at home in Australia, but once she relocated to train in Kansas City, she went from prospect to champion in less than 2 years. A 5-fight Invicta FC veteran, Anderson has won 4 in a row by knockout, highlighted by a 2017 KO that earned her the Invicta 145-pound title.
I've won 4 in a row, but I think with a win tonight, it definitely helps me progress towards moving up in the ranks. I 100% believe in my abilities and my coaching, my training, and we've done everything possible to be able to be prepared for this fight and get our hand raised.
A 3-division world boxing champion and MMA superstar, Albuquerque's Holly Holm has secured her place in the history books as one of the best women to ever do it. But the preacher's daughter is hoping to secure a rematch with featherweight champion Chris Cyborg. And the best way to do that is by spoiling the UFC debut of Megan Anderson here tonight.
Fighting Megan's a whole new journey. I know she's coming in trying to make waves and prove herself, and so I know she's coming with her A game, and I'm ready.
Former member of the Australian Army, here is the Gold Coast's Megan Anderson, and this visual dovetails with exactly the way she has been throughout fight week. A picture of composure and focus, and even Holly Holm said to us, totally unintimidated by the moment. She felt like it would come sooner. Here is Megan Anderson making her UFC debut.
Well, she has supreme confidence. She believes she should have been in here a long time ago, and if it wasn't for some visa issues, she probably would have. She's a big girl. She walks around north of 170 pounds to cut weight to 145. So we're not talking about a bantamweight that is just fighting at 145 because the opportunity is available, like many of the people that Chris Cyborg has fought. You're talking about a big girl that's never going to make 135. Right. She's perfect for this weight class. That's a legitimate 145-pound Invicta champion, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see how she fares facing her very first world-class opponent tonight in Holly Holm.
And she has momentum on her side. 4 wins by knockout all in a row in her last 4 fights, so she's streaking right now. A ton of physical skills. The question is, can she come more to be aggressive? Holly Holm's a great counterpuncher. She can't fall for that.
Look how big she is, man.
So long, so long. And you'll see it shortly on the tail of the tape. Trains under James Krause, Glory MMA Fitness in Kansas City, Missouri, dating to September of 2015. Megan Anderson touching down on that UFC canvas for the first time.
Damn, Holly Holm just kicked the walking music up a notch.
Led Zeppelin, man. I'm feeling it, dude. Classic.
And this her walkout jam the last time she won with a head kick knockout of Betch Kohea last June. And she said about Megan Anderson, she had a lot of respect for her, of course, as an athlete and as a competitor, but she does not want to be anybody's stepping stone here tonight. And that has sort of regenerated some serious excitement for Holly Holm during this game.
Look, she knows at this point in her career, there are no safe fights, there are no easy fights, there are no fights she can give up and stay where she wants to be, which is right at the top in title contention at 35 or 45. You can't lose to the up-and-comers, and she knows she has a tough up-and-comer in front of her. The issue she's had in past fights is initiating. She's a much better counterpuncher than she is an initiator. But she has an aggressive opponent in front of her tonight. I think it suits her style.
Of course, Holly Holm knocked out Ronda Rousey in UFC 193 November of 2015 to become the bantamweight champion. Relinquished the title to Miesha Tate less than 4 months later. And Holm still trying to chase down a belt in a second division. This tail of the tape brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. Holly Holm, 36 but still hungry. Megan Anderson is 28. You see the height discrepancy, 6 feet versus 5'8". Megan Anderson will have a 3-inch reach advantage. All right, now for the introductions, here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC featherweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 8 wins, 2 losses. She stands 6 feet tall, weighing in at 146 pounds. Fighting out of Kansas City, Missouri, by way of Gold Coast, Australia, and tonight she is making her octagon debut, presenting Megan And now introducing her opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a kickboxer holding a professional record, 11 wins, 4 losses. She stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in at 146 pounds. Fighting out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, presenting the #1 ranked bantamweight contender in the world and the former UFC bantamweight champion, Holly the Preacher's daughter. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Kevin McDonald.
Kevin McDonald, a busy man here tonight. He will be our referee. Thank you, Brooklyn. Here we go, 3 rounds or fewer in the UFC Women's Featherweight division. This is the first non-title Women's Featherweight fight in UFC history. Holly Holm in the gray with black, Megan Anderson in the all black. Tonight's Fight Clock brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925.
You can see them next to each other. The line, the betting line moved after the weigh-in, as so many people saw how much bigger Megan Anderson was.
Nice kick to the body there by, big knee by Megan. Big knee.
Anderson mixing it up well, working the body, nice knee there.
Another nice knee. Holly closing that distance. Yeah, there is a big difference in size between someone who can make 135 pounds like Holly and someone like Megan who struggles to make 145.
She's not making 35 with all her limbs, no way.
She is so
Cut
long.
one off, she's huge. And she's using her power so effectively. Great knees, using that build.
Nice elbow there by Holly. But here's what's important. This is the first time she's ever fought someone with a real, full world-class skill set.
Right.
I mean, you're talking about a woman, and Holly Holm is an 18-time boxing champion, kickboxing experience, UFC bantamweight champion. I mean, she's fought everybody, man.
And she's from a great camp. There's a lot of people working a lot of different skills. She can do it all. She's not going to get flustered being behind early. That's important.
And if she finds holes and finds weaknesses, she will exploit them. The question is she's going to be able to do that?
Like right now, Megan Anderson should be circling off this fence. Doesn't want to be in this short range game. She has great knees, but the elbows, the inside game favor a lot of times a smaller fighter.
Anderson was to make her UFC debut last July at UFC 214 against Chris Cyborg, pulled out due to personal reasons. And 11 months later, here she is.
Megan's doing a good job of closing up Holly's mouth. Every time she gets close to her, she puts her hand on her mouth.
Holly do everything she can to keep Megan Anderson against that fence. She did not like what she felt on the outside.
So Megan is constantly covering her mouth.
Been a long time since Holly Holm was in a 3-round fight in the UFC. 2015 against Marion Renault in what was her second UFC fight.
No real attempt at a takedown, no real level change. Not trying that hard for the body lock. And stay inside and land short strikes. She did not like what she was seeing at range, for sure.
She might just be trying to tire her out. Take some spring off those legs.
Holmes' coaches have said she has gotten a lot stronger. She has added some muscle and put that to good use there in the clinch. Back to the center now, less than 2 minutes to go in the round. And you just heard James Krause say she don't want to trade, Megan.
I agree 100%.
Holly's taking that sideways stance, and she'll employ that front leg side kick when she can and try to keep the distance between the two of them.
Beautiful.
Good shot there from Holly.
And she gets it. Look at this. Look at this.
Able to wrench her over. She's got to keep it. I don't think she will.
Yeah, Holly has to decide here if she's going to step over and make her neck more comfortable and be in half guard, or wait for Megan to let go. And she's going to wait for Megan. Good job. That's a very smart thing to do here. And Megan's got to let go of that neck, because that's not helping her.
Yeah, we've seen the veteran moves from Holly Holm. And Megan, like you said, hanging on to that neck a little bit too long. She's making those little mistakes. Holly Holm is fighting smart now.
Now let's see what kind of bottom game Megan has, because you got to think that a girl, if she's training with other girls, probably isn't finding a lot of people to keep her on her back. Right. So let's see what kind of a back game she has. And she's moving her legs very well here. I like this. Look at that, getting those feet in position. Holly better be very careful of her legs here.
That's trying to push her off and get extension with her legs.
Look at this. She's spinning around behind her.
I don't think she has time to use it, though.
No. But it's a super awkward position. And Holly's doing a good job of softening up those legs from there.
Look how long those legs are, though.
They're crazy.
So few fighters would even be in that position.
She's like one of them Avatar ladies. And those blue ladies.
Hey, we know the game plan now. We know what we're trying to do.
This is totally just what I was thinking, just like you pulled it out of my mind.
Tonight's Corner Cam brought to you by Body Armor. Make the switch to Body Armor, the official sports drink of UFC. More natural, better sports drink. Grab one today at 7-Eleven.
A little bit of water on your head. This girl can't strike with you. Okay? You got too much time. Hey, this is what we're gonna try. They're gonna try to put you up the fence, and they're gonna try to do the same thing on that open mat shot. I need an underhook. You gotta have a little bit of urgency on the fence. I like this. Now, when you use this, we gotta use this to get our hips out. You understand me? Okay, so when you jack this up, you gotta use it to get your hips out. Okay? Okay, listen to me. Let your jab find your right hand. You got it? You got mid-range. 9 seconds out. Don't stop trying.
I would like to know the weight difference between the two of them right now.
Maybe someday we'll do that, right?
Yeah, because I don't think Holly gained too much weight. I think she's probably still somewhere around the 145 to 150 pound range. Megan might be well north of 160.
Yes.
Yeah, easy.
So that takedown for Holly Holm, just her third in 9 UFC fights. One against Ronda Rousey, one against Marion Renault, and one in round 1 tonight against Megan Anderson.
Yeah, she told us it'd probably be about 20 pounds tonight. 65. Big advantage. Holly has to be smart, which so far she's doing, I think.
Good right hand there by Holly. Megan keeping her hands up high too, though. Careful of those kicks from Holly, particularly that question mark kick. She's been very sneaky with that. Just throw that front kick down the middle, get you used to it.
Megan said she'd be aggressive and go after it. The problem is right now, it's leading to a lot of takedown opportunities for Holly Holm. She's finding her opportunities to get it close, to make it about the clinch work, the kind of fight Megan Anderson doesn't want.
Right.
And the problem is Megan Anderson so far in her career has fought fighters who are willing to engage in a brawl. Veteran fighters are not going to do that as much. They're going to fight when and where they want to fight.
And obviously we saw major movement in the betting line, but this was a big ask for Megan Anderson. Her last fight, January 2017 against Charmaine Tweet. Joe mentioned the obvious step up in competition. This is world class tonight.
It's a giant leap to the people that she's fought before. But the thought is that she has the talent to make this leap. And this is not like a set-up fight, and many people feel like she's the favorite here. There's a nice right hand. There's that side kick again. She uses that more of a defensive weapon. She tries to keep you away and pushes. There's a nice kick to the body by Holly. It leaves her open for one of those long, praying mantis-style right hands.
Not necessarily the output we have seen from Megan Anderson in past fights, but that a direct result of the opponent.
100%.
A direct result of the strategy that Holly Holm is employing, which is if you get extended, if you push forward and get too aggressive with me, I'm going to take you down.
Holly's locking up that left arm, and I'm very curious to see what she tries to do with this here. We very rarely see Holly go for any kind of submission.
Look at the trouble she's having stepping around the legs of Megan Anderson.
Yeah.
She's trying to unwind them around her leg.
Tell me, paint her blue and put her on a dragon.
Well, she's still hanging on to this Kimura position.
And Holly is stepping over and trying to get mount.
The easiest way to finish the Kimura is inside control. If she goes there, yeah, she might try and keep it now. I think she could have gone mount, but decided to keep this kind of trap position. She still has the arm trapped, though. She can go back to it. So I thought she could have gone full mount and decided to go to this Kimura attack.
Anderson believes she would have the strength advantage. Not necessarily the case. Under 2 minutes here, round two.
She perhaps does, but it doesn't matter if the opponent has the technique advantage.
See
she doesn't get to use that strength.
That knee, she's constantly threatening with the crucifix. She's going to step over for a second, and it makes Megan Anderson pull that elbow back up. Oh, beautiful job to full mount.
Well, it's just in defense of Megan trying to reclaim guard. Oh, two big shots. Big shots by Holly from the top.
Arm triangle now. She's in arm triangle position. She sinks it with her head.
Definitely possible here. Megan putting her hand on the ear, answering the phone, the defense for that. Now she let that go. She let that go. Holly's in position here. She needs to squeeze down on that.
Well, she's not that deep with this arm. Wants it behind the head. Her left arm, she wants it all the way behind the head. She's just not committing to any one thing. She wants to keep the ground and pound option open.
Look at this full mount here. Very nice by Holly Holm. Oh, man. Here's those crazy long legs, man. And flexibility and dexterity as well. But she looks like a fish out of water here with someone mounting her. She really doesn't seem to have a lot of experience in this position. She's not moving the way someone who's been here a lot would move.
She's not bumping at the right time, not shrimping her hips, those basic things.
She's just trying to step over and capture one of the legs and bring it back to half guard.
Things that someone with a big strength and physical length advantage would do.
Yes, exactly.
Not somebody who's used to being held down by bigger, stronger people.
Oh, big elbow by Holly. And another one, and another one. Nasty ground and pound by the former bantamweight champion.
Turning her physical advantages into disadvantages with good position. That's what Holly Holm's doing.
A lot of confidence gained for Holly Holm in the last fight against Chris Cyborg, and a big second round for the Preacher's daughter.
And there, off the knee, Holly takes her down, has been completely controlling on the ground, showing fantastic grappling technique. Look at those big right hands from the top by Holly. She landed some nasty elbows.
Look at me. Whenever we go hard with the hands, we need to immediately reset and re-rock the feet, reset. We need space after that. You got to go hard here, okay? We're down 2-0, all right? You're doing fine. We can still finish this. You've rocked her twice already, all right? We just need hard.
As soon as you stop and go, she times you. Don't stop and go.
Fades like knives. Ice. All right?
Everything's working good.
Great, good job not losing the position.
The unauthorized reproduction or distribution of this copyright work is illegal and punishable under law. All right, third and final round here. Holly Holm and Megan Anderson. Winner could very well find herself in the octagon with Chris Cyborg later here in 2018.
Well, Megan's got to be in desperation mode here. And this, at the very least, is a valuable learning experience because she's fought a world-class fighter for the first time in her career, and it looks like she fought a world-class fighter for the first time in her career. Doesn't say she's not dangerous, doesn't say she's not skilled, but this is a new experience for her.
Right. What do you do when the things that have been working previously in your career suddenly don't work? That's what fighting's all about, and she's learning tonight. Not everybody's going to stand in front of her. She has to deal with this takedown attack, this short-range attack. Holly Holm has been fighting a very smart fight, and Megan Anderson hasn't had the complete game to answer it. Not yet.
Yeah, Holly's trying to get this takedown over and over and over again. And Megan is not dropping her weight down. She's not spreading her legs wide.
Well, and Megan Anderson, full disclosure, was not even training in 2012. So this is very much a developing fighter being thrown into deep water tonight.
With that position she was in, almost guillotine, but with one arm, that's a head whip. A lot of times you can use that against smaller fighters. And so she's doing a lot of things that, against maybe a lesser fighter, you could turn and flip him over. Holly Holm's not going to fall for that. That escape, going out the back door, foot under the armpits when she was mounted, that works against some people, but not against Holly Holm, not against people that are heavier than you, that have heavier hips. We're seeing that, I think, over and over with Megan Anderson. What do you do when everything's not working? That's a big question you have to learn to evolve as a fighter. Big learning curve right now for Megan Anderson.
Nearly 8 minutes of control time for Holly Holm as we approach the 3-minute mark in this third and final round.
And you got to think this is a wake-up call for a girl who is clamoring for a fight with Cyborg.
Right.
Because there's a whole different level of explosion in your dome when Cyborg's dropping things on you.
And totally different top pressure on top.
Everything, all the above. But Holly's doing a tremendous job.
Yeah.
Controlling her on the ground, exposing her really, exposing her lack of understanding of these positions and lack of experience being dominated like this.
Listen in to James Krause in the corner of Megan Anderson.
Push your hips back to your left shoulder.
Look at her legs just completely lax.
No shrimping, no turning, not doing anything. But also what Holly Holm does that I like is she'll fake for a submission for a second and then go back to ground and pound and always keep Megan Anderson guessing. Once again, hopped off and she thought she was going to get bumped.
Well, she did a good job there by using her feet on the cage and bumping off. But again, Holly's like, I'm out of here. I'll just secure the takedown again. I mean, she's very confident, I think, at this point that all she has to do is just grab a hold of her and she can bring this fight to the ground again and then control her on the ground.
And also, Holly Holm's so used to 5-round fights. Look at her gas right now. She's moving well, light on her feet, bouncing around. And the fight's only 15 minutes long.
Yeah, and there's a nice front kick to the body. And also, let's be honest, Holly is not really a featherweight. She can fight at featherweight. She is a bantamweight. She makes that weight easy. Boom. In fact,
another takedown.
She's the #1 contender in the bantamweight division.
Right. And she still has vision to their return to 35. But for Holly Holm tonight, 4 takedowns, only 2 in her UFC career prior. And you're right, 15 minutes for Holly Holm.
Well, she's really the only real dangerous fight right now, at least high-profile fight, for Amanda Nunes. I mean, who else is there? When you really stop and think about it, there's not a lot of fights that are standing out. There's excellent fighters in that division, but Nunes is just such an assassin. You need someone like Holly, someone of that level of experience to fight her. And right now, Holly's making a real good case for her being world class.
A beautiful, easy pass right into full mount. Seamless, easy stuff.
She's not this like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu phenom, you know what I mean? Which is why this is so crazy. Like Holly's just an outstanding, professional, world-class MMA fighter, fighting someone who just is a really big, strong girl who's fought people that are just not at her level before.
Now, someone who might get there, we're seeing some potential, but complete games. That's the story of tonight. Who has the complete game?
Yeah, I mean, she's just being dominated here on the ground. Knee to the neck, that's just disrespectful.
And not sitting on the lead either, too. Holly Holm chasing a finish, aggressive ground and pound here down the stretch.
And Megan not able to do anything about it.
So for Holm, she was able to get dominant positions, maintain them for most of it.
Guillotine. Whoa.
So Holly Holm and Megan Anderson go the distance. It was all the preacher's daughter tonight.
I mean, complete domination by Holly Holm. Took a couple shots early in the fight, and then as soon as she started grappling, it's all her. I mean, that was about as one-sided a fight as you're ever going to see, you know, amongst world-class fighters. There's Megan earlier with that big knee and the elbow behind it. I mean, she just looked dangerous right off the bat. I thought Holly might be in trouble. But then once Holly got going, there's that front kick and got these takedowns over and over and over again.
It was the ability to adjust to the circumstances, to adjust to the build, to adjust to the tactics that won Holly Holm this fight. Yeah, you might rock me for a second. I'm going to change the game plan, go to my takedown, my jiu-jitsu, and dominate. That's exactly what she did.
And it highlighted how physically strong Holly is. Very, very strong woman.
And the numbers tell you it was all Holly Holm. Decided advantage in terms of these significant strikes. Landed 4 of her 9 takedown attempts. More than 2 rounds of control time for Holly Holm here tonight. Saw a lot of money come in on Megan Anderson. This betting line moved a full $1 from Monday to Saturday. All Holly Holm tonight. And an appreciative Chicago crowd, too. Nice to see a knowledgeable, educated crowd appreciating the groundwork of Holly Holm tonight. The official decision brought to you by Metro PCS, bringing you closer than ever to the UFC on a fast nationwide LTE network. Here now, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. The judges score this contest 30-27, 30-26, and 30-26 for the winner by unanimous decision, Holly the Preacher's Doctor Holm.
I'm here with the winner, Holly Holm. First of all, Holly, congratulations on a very, very impressive victory. You showed a completely new level of your game tonight with your wrestling and your control on the ground. Was that the game plan coming in here?
The game plan is always open-ended. You know, I don't really know how it's going to go, so I just want to play it by, round by round. Sometimes I've tried in my other fights, but maybe I wasn't feeling as confident in her takedowns, but it's about time I start trying them here. I do it in practice, and so, I just felt good tonight. I thought, you know what? We fight for a reason. We don't ever know what's going to happen, so let's just try and make our own thing happen.
Well, there was a lot of questions about Megan coming into here. She's a big, powerful woman, but there was questions how she would fare against world-class competition. You answered those questions here tonight and proved once again that you're one of the very best women's MMA fighters on the planet.
Thank you so much. I love you guys very much. Let me just say.
The question, go ahead.
Go ahead.
The question, Holly, is this your division or is 135 your division? You don't have a hard time making 135.
I don't, it's one of those things like my 135-pound belt, that's dear to me. I want it back. It's like losing my pet or something. My heart hurts. So I do want to go back to that, but I want to feel like I've challenged myself a lot. In boxing, I fought in 3 weight classes, and when the 45-pound division opened, you have to take big risks to get great victories, and like fighting someone like Cyborg at a heavier weight, that was like a big thing that I thought, what, I want to do this. I don't do it just be part of it. I want to do it for the victory. And so I've just been taking challenges. But 135 is really where I stay, for the most part.
What is more attractive to you, winning a belt at 145 and beating Cyborg, or going back down to 135 and reclaiming your belt?
I think naturally, okay, I want both. I want it all. But naturally, yeah, I do. I think sometimes when you get a little attached to something, you might want that a little more. So the 135-pound belt kind of calls my name a little more because I had it and I lost it. I want to get it back. But I just wanted to say there's like so many ups and downs in life, and I don't really, I know everybody always talks about their team, and this is like boring for other people to hear, but this team right here, and then 2 are out here. Everybody I'm 36, I'll be 37, and with some losses I've had recently, the common question is, when are you going to retire? And this team never does that. They know I'm really wanting to be here. And, Mike Winklejohn's been with me. A lot of people have gone through a lot of different camps and training camps, and I've been with them since the beginning. And my team, this is for them. This is for my team.
Well, Holly, thank you very much for an awesome fight. I can't wait to see you fight again. Holly Holm, ladies and gentlemen.
One of the classiest champions and athletes that the Octagon has ever hosted, and you gotta think at 35 or 45, Holly Holm's next fight will be for a UFC championship. Big win for Holly Holm tonight. Great night at UFC 225. Live look inside Hawkeye's Bar and Grill in the heart of Chicago. Might be a future UFC champion right there. Fans certainly enjoying the pay-per-view event so far in the Windy City. UFC has definitely taken over this week. for what is our first pay-per-view here in Chicago. And of course, the best is yet to come. The words give way to the action here and now. American top team's Colby Covington challenging for the UFC interim welterweight title against the former lightweight champion, Rafael dos Anjos.
I remember as a kid having a dream to become a UFC fighter. I became the first Brazilian lightweight champion. Now I'm about to have my second belt.
There's the tap!
We got a new top contender at 170 pounds, ladies and gentlemen.
Since I moved to welterweight, I'm a different animal. I turn into a different person.
Oh, dos Anjos mixing it up beautifully here.
Oh, body shot. The body shots hurt. I just beat the toughest guy in the division. I'm coming for that welterweight belt.
I don't notice anything that little midget that got melted by a featherweight does.
I'm the best wrestler to ever step into the UFC octagon. These guys, they don't have the pace, they don't have the cardio, they don't have the mentality.
He's got to get the tap here. And there it is. Colby Covington gets the finish.
At the end of the day, these guys are going to respect me when I keep embarrassing the whole division.
Dana, I'm size 32 waist. Get that belt ready for me.
This is a very confident young man. Colby Covington is the real deal.
Look at everything I've said my whole career. Everything I've said, I've went out there and done it. People said Damian Maia was going to destroy me, and I had no chance. I went out there and I put in a statement on him, and I left him in a pool full of blood.
Same thing would happen to Rafael dos Anjos, dude. He's scared. He's been ducking me for a long time. There's a reason he didn't fight me tonight, and this is the reason.
This is my division now. All you filthy animals suck, and I'm going to take what's mine, that welterweight belt.
That guy don't deserve any respect. Fight night, man. It's just me and him. There's no talk. It's going to be a nightmare for him.
Oh! Dos Anjos all over him early.
I feel that I have a lot of weapons to knock him out, to submit him. I'm gonna make him suffer, making him pay, you know.
He's done it!
He tries to wrestle in fights. He's not gonna wrestle me. I'm getting better every day. He's getting older, slower, and definitely dumber. When I rearrange his face, you know, he's gonna thank me.
I know I have 5 rounds to fight. I'm gonna make sure I take my time. I hurt him bad, and I'm gonna have the welterweight strap around my waist.
Spoiler alert. This fight's gonna end by a vicious knockout, and I'm gonna be getting on my private jet with my 10 pounds of gold, coming back to Miami Beach with all my beautiful women.
Man, this guy, man, he's playing tough, but I'm gonna teach him some respect.
You're definitely gonna see the best version of Colby Chaos Covington. He's gonna leave that octagon a stretcher.
Tonight, and without asking Colby Covington, I can tell you this man does not care. 6 years ago, he was one of several wrestlers brought to South Florida by Dan Lambert, and they have developed this man into a legitimate title threat. Tonight, his first crack at a piece of the UFC title.
And make no mistake about it, I mean, there's all this talk and all the fun and all the jazz and the trash, but he can fight. So if you start like taking him lightly because of all the trash talk, go watch the Damian Maia fight. Damian Maia is one of the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters to ever compete in MMA. And Colby shut him down and beat him up. It was a clear-cut, dominant victory. And that sets him up for this fight here tonight. I mean, he beat Damian Maia arguably better than Woodley did.
Right. Tonight's Prep Point is brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925.
I think another thing that gets kind of lost in all the trash talk is it's really his second big fight. I mean, we've seen other guys engage in this kind of thing, but they usually have a longer track record. Destroyed Damian Maia, but
This is really his second fight really under the spotlight. He's doing everything he can to keep the spotlight on him, but second big fight. Doesn't have a lot of names on his resume.
And that trash talking is a smart thing to do for two reasons. One, it gets people to buy the pay-per-view. They want to see you lose. They root against you. Who cares? They're buying it. But two, it puts a lot of weight on your opponent. That stuff is devastating. Look what it did to Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo was clearly out of character when he fought Conor. And a big part of it was that he had to travel around with Conor where Conor was yelling at him and spitting in his face for months. That stuff wears on you.
Lightweight champion Rafael dos Anjos, one of Brazil's best to ever grace the octagon, tonight trying to enter that rarefied air as a two-division UFC champion.
We already know he has skills. We know he can do at 55, at 170, so he did to Robbie Lawler, Neil Magny. How much of this emotion can he leave outside of the octagon? How much of this emotion will fuel him, will make him better, will make him tougher, and how much of it will burn him out? That is a huge question when it comes to the mentality of this fight. Tactically, he's great inside, great short-range puncher, great combinations. Can he stay at short range, at punching range, without falling for the takedown? That's a huge tactical question for me.
He is a poster boy for the positive benefits of going up a weight class. Looked absolutely sensational at welterweight. Looked great at lightweight early in his career. Got to a point where he was too thick, had too much muscle, couldn't make the weight cut anymore, and it really started to fade. What we saw in his last three fights, particularly the Robbie Lawler fight, was just nothing short of spectacular. The Tarek Saffiedine fight. Tarek Saffiedine's a world-class striker. Shut him down. Just strangled Neil Magny. Leg kicked him, controlled him on the ground. I like this guy at 170, and this is a fascinating fight for me.
All right, this tale of the tape brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. Rafael dos Anjos, 33. Colby Covington is 30. Covington, the taller man by 3 inches. He will have a 2-inch reach advantage. The UFC Interim Welterweight Championship fight is upon us. For the official introductions, inside the Bruce Buck.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 5 rounds for the interim UFC Welterweight Championship of the World. Our 3 judges scoring this contest at Octagon side are Sally Amato, Kelvin Caldwell, and Mike Bell. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Herb Dean. And now, introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a striker holding a professional record, 14 wins, 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighing in at 169 pounds. Fighting out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, presenting the number 4 ranked welterweight contender in the world, Colby Chaos Covington. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a grappler holding a professional record, 28 wins, 9 losses. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in at 169 pounds. Fighting out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, presenting the former UFC lightweight champion and the number 1 ranked welterweight contender in the world, Rafael dos Anjos.
All right, gentlemen, you've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. You gotta keep it clean. Touch gloves and let's do it.
Whew. This is one of those, I know I'm not fighting, but I'm very anxious. Rafael Dos Anjos and Colby Covington. Dos Anjos, when he made his UFC welterweight debut against Tarek Saffiedine, said he had concerns about the welterweight power going in. The results undeniable. 3-0 for Dos Anjos and a welterweight championship opportunity tonight. Fight Clock brought to you by Modelo Especial. Who with the fighting spirit since 1925.
Look at Colby right to him and gets the takedown immediately. Look at this.
Taking a big risk getting up, turning his back.
Colby all over him here.
Quick start.
Real quick start.
Someone's bleeding.
What happened that there's blood?
Maybe a cauliflower wheel explosion? I don't know.
It looks like it's Colby. Might have been from a collision going for the takedown.
Colby generally doesn't fight like this. Big surprise.
It looks like Rafael Dos Anjos' cauliflower ear.
Yep.
His left ear. Look at Colby all over. And another thing to consider, Colby's a bigger man. You know, Colby's not making 155. Dos Anjos did for years. The majority of his UFC career, in fact.
Right.
And I think he's a natural welterweight. I think it's the right weight class for him. But there's a big gap in those 10 pounds, and I think Colby's at the higher end of it.
Another thing, Colby Covington has a lot of faith in his cardio. He says, my cardio, my heart, my pacing, other fighters just can't keep up with me. He's fighting a guy who has a lot of faith in his gas tank. Remember, it's a 5-round fight. And he's coming out brawling like it's a 1-round fight. He really believes his cardio and pacing are better.
Good left hand by Dos Anjos. Colby has shown in the past that he can take a shot.
Showed good gas against Damian Maia, turned it on in that 3rd round. Never really slowed down. I liked his pacing in that fight. No reason to suspect his cardio.
No, he's an American top team guy, and he's training with savages over there on a daily basis. They've got him well prepared for this.
But I'm curious if this is kind of an opening salvo, like rush him first and maybe take a little break when he gets top position or something, because the pace he's setting, hard to keep up for 25 minutes.
Well, I think the thought, look at that, nice round kick by Colby.
Well, with so much gamesmanship, it's kind of like, I'll be the aggressor starting out and kind of put Dos Anjos on his heels early. Well, he certainly could be part of it.
Relentless with his pressure here. And just smothering Dos Anjos. Just staying, oh, nice shot to the body by Dos Anjos.
And a knee to the body for Dos Anjos. Covington talked a lot about the leg kicks of Dos Anjos. This is a good way to neutralize those.
Yeah, that is a big part of his arsenal.
Another thing about Dos Anjos, look at his face. Very composed right now. Doesn't seem bothered by it, looking for his opportunities.
Well, and this is a guy after a terrible weight cut, went 5 rounds at altitude with Tony Ferguson on sheer hawk, so. Under 2 minutes here, round 1, Covington.
Oh, beautiful knee to the body there by Dos Anjos. But Colby just ate it.
Covington getting a little wild with the hands.
Just constant pressure.
Winging punches, too.
Another beautiful knee to the body by Dos Anjos.
He's punching and kneeing a lot to those ribs. A great way to slow a guy down. Hard to keep this hard to keep this pace. You can't get a full breath.
Good kicks there by Colby too. Just constantly on it.
Ooh. Dos Anjos cracked Covington with the right hand there. Drew a smile from Colby Chaos.
He's constantly on him, but when he takes his shots, Dos Anjos, I think, is landing a little bit sharper.
Colby with some good body kick. Another front kick down the middle. That cardio is just such a weapon. To be able to put a vicious pace on someone and know that you can keep up.
No surprise, Covington has advanced 57% of the time. Under a minute now, round 1. Covington has never been knocked out in 14, now 15 pro fights.
But since that first takedown, not a lot of success. He's been in clinch positions, but not any clean takedowns since that first one.
But he's not giving Dos Anjos a chance to set up. He's forcing him to fight off the back foot.
So many questions in this first round with the pacing and the style of these two fighters.
Well, there was a question about Colby leading into the Maia fight. He answered those questions, and he's answered even more of them now.
But can he keep this pace up, and can Rafael Dos Anjos make him pay for being so aggressive early? That's the question.
Deep breath. Let's get the heart rate down. Deep breath. Focus on that heart going down. Good. Deep breaths.
He's tired. He's very tired.
Okay, that's fake.
Hey, the low kick is there for you too. Hey, when we're against the cage, let's start using our knees. Knees to the body, knee to the legs. Got to relax there a little bit. Take a drink when you're ready.
Let's get some. The more he backs up, the better. He's following you right now. Let's see once he starts backing up. Let's see if we can stay on him. All right? You feel good?
Feel good.
All right. Stay focused in there. Stay focused. Keep that movement going. Listen to it. Listen to it.
UFC 225 Whittaker versus Romero 2 is presented by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. Round 2 here, Colby Covington, Rafael Dos Anjos. Mike Brown and Jorge Masvidal trying to calm Covington down. He liked that head kick out of himself.
He liked it, he smiled. Look at this, he's got Dos Anjos down again.
Same as early in round 1. Early takedown, working for the hooks. Dos Anjos against the fence, trying to turn.
Center control advantage Covington. You heard Jason Perillo say to Dos Anjos, if he backs up, try to stay on him. Fight for underhooks here.
Colby is forcing Dos Anjos to fight his fight. He's pressing the action, and he's forcing Dos Anjos to respond to him. Dos Anjos has got to do something to turn this fight around and make him the guy who's pressing the action. Because that's how he likes to fight. He's not a counter fighter. He's a guy who likes to brawl technically.
He's got to do two things right now that he's not doing. Number one, he can't let his back get pushed against the fence. He has to angle when Covington comes forward. And he hasn't been able to yet land that power shot that's going to make Colby Covington hesitate. Those two things. Can't back up like this.
No.
And let Colby Covington push him against the fence.
You're absolutely right. He's moving in straight lines, and he's got to move sideways.
Colby sucks is the chant if you can't make it out. That's what they are chanting around us.
How'd they all agree on that?
I think one person does and goes, yeah, that's a good idea. Right, that's how it works.
Look at this.
Good scramble.
Dos Anjos again, back press to the cage, has got to create distance, and he's got to be the one who's the aggressor here. Even if it means going into a brawl. Because it's the only way he's going to be able to get his game off. He's doing it more now. Oh, nice shot to the body. Very nice shot to the body.
He's landed a few of those.
Covington lands the left hand over the top.
Put Money in the Bank.
But here's what's impressive. Go back and watch the Robbie Lawler fight and look how much better Colby's doing.
Yeah.
Right. This kid is for real. All the trash talk aside, all the theatrics, he can fight.
Right, you look at the welterweight body of work for Dos Anjos, Saffiedine, Magny, Lawler. A lot of problems being posed by Colby Covington tonight.
Yeah, because he's been running through people up to now.
Covington, a wrestler dating to 6 years old, representing Thurston Wrestling back in the day.
Other fighters have beaten Damian Maia. None of them looked good. You know, even beating him, they didn't look good. Colby Covington looked very good in that fight. That says a lot.
Yeah, he was one of the rare guys.
Oh!
Big left from Dos Anjos. Covington seems unfazed.
Wasn't sure if he was turning away if that shot hurt him, but he was just turning away quickly.
He's almost got that casual Nick Diaz style of throwing shots. He just never lets up, but he never throws anything 100%.
Yeah, that's a good analogy and a good right hand from Covington.
Especially with his kicks. Oh, nice uppercut by Covington. That clipped Dos Anjos. That was a good uppercut.
what it does when someone's coming forward like that, throwing, it makes you punch from awkward angles. You're going backward where the impact of the punch would normally be. Is always changing. The guy's always coming at you, throwing something.
It's also much more exhausting to move backwards.
Incredibly tiring.
And then when he's not moving backwards, he's trying to get away from the cage.
Dos Anjos back to the well with the body shot, and the knee lands. He has had his moments in this second round.
Another point is that Dos Anjos is not the one-shot killer at 170 than he was at 155. He's been much more high volume, and I think that's because he's in better health and condition at 170, but he's just not putting people away the way he was doing so at 155.
And I think that's a smart tactical transition. He's not going to drop Robbie Lawler with one shot like he did 55ers. Nice takedown.
Colby's on his back.
Fourth takedown secured for Covington on 11 attempts. Dos Anjos landed nearly 200 significant strikes against Lawler over 25 minutes. Couldn't get him out of there.
Dos Anjos shaking off that hook, and he is starting to show fatigue. He's taking big, deep breaths. The pressure of Covington, and now not just the pressure, but the overwhelming anxiety of knowing that you're losing this fight to a guy that's been talking trash to you for weeks now.
But for his point, he's been getting up and forcing Colby Covington to spend a lot of energy going after him. And his body work's been good. That might pay dividends rounds 3, 4, and 5. We'll see.
And there's some cuts on Colby's eyes now. Not sure what blows caused those. But let's look at some of the action here. Here's Colby moving forward. Shoots in, gets the legs, gets the takedown. And there's a nice knee to the body by Rafael Dos Anjos. Look at this vicious right hand to the body. Look at this uppercut by Colby. He landed that uppercut a couple times in that round.
Want to keep moving those feet on the cage. Keep moving those feet. Don't let them push you in the cage. Keep cutting the side. You got your elbows on the inside when you're coming forward. How you feel? Come on, let's wake up. This is your fight now, all right? Hands nice and tight. I need you to group them, though. You're throwing one at a time. You need to throw more than one. You hear me? You hear me? Hey, you hear me?
Scott Raymond Cutman working on that right eye of Colby Covington. We have seen him cut fairly easily. Damian Maia landed an early left hand over the top, and immediately Covington was opened up.
Yeah, he's got some scar tissue he's dealing with. What concerns me is the body language and the morale in the corner of Rafael Dos Anjos.
Okay, all right,
they're trying to wake him up. This is not a lot of strategic talk. This is a lot of, hey, what's going on out there? Come on, get it together.
Behind the block.
The one tactical piece they did give is you have to angle, you have to circle, quit throwing just one punch, and I completely agree.
But look, Colby again, right on top of him. I mean, this is total Nick Diaz style. Just overwhelming you, constant pressure.
Covington continuously mixing up the footwork too, switching stances, giving Dos Anjos a lot of different looks tonight, and maybe some discouragement starting to creep in for the Brazilian. And hard to quantify the emotion, Joe, but you know, this is a guy who's denigrated his entire country, taking personal shots.
Yeah, tremendous amount of pressure on Dos Anjos, but also pressure on Colby because he's got to back up all that talk. But he doesn't seem like he's having a problem with that at all.
Don't forget, right after our main event, recap of all of the action on the UFC 225 post-fight show. It's on FS1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. In Canada, you can find it on TSN.
We're starting to get the feeling, in my opinion, that Dos Anjos is kind of looking for a breath. Like, when will this guy let up for a second? And Colby Covington's not doing it.
Not just that, but he seems like he's losing energy. He doesn't have the same pop to his strikes, and he seems much more agreeable to letting him clinch with him.
That's the last thing you want with Colby Covington. This guy can wrestle forever.
Pac-10 wrestling champ, two-time NCAA All-American at Oregon State University. Also wrestled at Iowa and Central Iowa Community College.
And look at that. This nice kick to the body, kick to the left. The volume is outstanding. Goes high, too. I mean, he's just not giving him any breaks. And Dos Anjos wants to set up, and he lands one hard shot. And then Colby's like, yeah, that's cute. I'm going to stay on you.
He keeps backing up straight.
Yeah.
I think that's... His corner keeps telling him, you got to angle. Can't let him push you against the fence.
I don't think he has the energy to do anything else now. I think Colby's making him wilt. And this is really stunning. is really stunning. Because it's the way he's doing it. It's just constant pressure and attack.
And what's so interesting about it is it's not like he's committing his whole body to one single takedown, then not getting it. He's content with his clinch position just to keep Rafael dos Anjos working.
Yep, and then no breaks for dos Anjos. As soon as they separate, he moves forward. Oh. That's a break right there.
Yep.
If I was him, I'd be like, ooh, 5 minutes. I'm going to need 5 minutes here.
Right. And more often than not, we do not see fighters take the time they are allotted for an inadvertent groin strike.
What did Colby just do with his hands? Did he just make... He was making some sort of a movement with his hands like he was breaking or something?
Watch your kick.
Like he's breaking. There's no doubt about what just happened right there.
Sure.
That's right to the junk. And he's saying, he's alluding to the fact he thinks dos Anjos is breaking. He's smiling at him.
He needs a break. A lot of ways to interpret that. None of them are good for Rafael dos Anjos.
Look at Colby, all over him again.
Look at that feeling. I don't care if I land. I don't care if I get the takedown. I'm keeping something in your face and exhausting you. Clearly his strategy.
And, you know, we got 2 rounds to go.
Well, one thing Covington can't control is his strength of schedule, and a lot of people wondered how he would do with this step up in competition tonight. Dos Anjos with nearly 3 times as much pro experience. So far, really good for Covington, who did close as the betting favorite tonight.
No one's been able to do this to dos Anjos. I mean, you go and look at his welterweight fights. Robbie Lawler, who's a former champion, he ran through Neil Magny, he beat up Tarek Safadine. I mean, no one's been able to do this to him. And even at lightweight, Alvarez caught him and hurt him.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that, but a persistent, natural, large grappler, 2-time All-American. No one's come at him with this kind of style before. Robbie Lawler can grapple, but that's just not where he goes, generally speaking. This is a committed wrestler who is a natural welterweight. Big part of the reason so far this fight is going the way it is.
Cut underneath the left eye of dos Anjos. See the total strike picture.
I mean, look at this. He just doesn't give you any chance to set up. And he's not kicking full strength. He's not punching full strength. He's just staying on him over and over and over again. I mean, this is impressive stuff.
Just mixing the martial arts beautifully. Under a minute now to go, round 3. Covington working off the back of the Brazilian now.
I've always admired that style, that Nick Diaz style, because it just seems so smothered. When he's just constantly on top of you, you don't get a chance to breathe. I mean, Frank Shamrock talked about his fight with Nick Diaz. He said one of the things about it is you don't get a chance to breathe and catch your breath. He's just constantly touching you, constantly touching you. You never get to set up. And this is exactly the same kind of style that Colby's employing. Maybe even more aggressive.
And mixing in a lot more wrestling.
Yes.
I mean, you know, that's one thing the Diaz brothers don't necessarily mix in that takedown like Colby Covington's going to do. He's going to throw this in your face and then go for the clinch and takedown. Rafael dos Anjos has to figure out a way around this strategy, or else it's 2 more rounds of this.
Yeah, and I want to hear what dos Anjos' corner is telling him to do technically, because they've got to light a fire under this guy, but he's got to be able to do something to keep this guy from, like here, psychologically, he's wilting. You see his body language, you see the way he's reacting to this attack.
Listen to Papa Lona real quick.
Rafa, a gente tem que acordar, Rafael. É no meio, moleque. No meio dele. Não sei o que ele tá fazendo. Vamos chutar ele no meio. Ou então faz a finta e cruza de esquerda.
Só que agora é
tudo, Rafael. Esquerda ou direita? Esquerda. Cruza esquerda. Faz a finta e cruza a esquerda.
Breathe. Take some water. Breathe and relax. Oh, sorry.
All right, let's get some fakes and big shots out. Keep that eye close, Cuba.
How about high kick with the left leg? Let's go to that side. That side's a little more open.
He's not waiting for the blast double in the middle of the ring, Colby.
Yes.
After you change with him, throw a hard double leg on him in the middle of the ring, not the cage.
Yes. He thinks you're going to, instead of brawling there out in the center, level change and drive through him. Right? That's there. Right?
Get your energy before you do it, though.
2 more rounds. Yeah. Good. Great pressure, man. Great pressure. He's sinking. He's sinking.
Let's go. Face level changes. World championship. Let's go.
Got to work on my Portuguese. Dos Anjos twice addressed his corner man and those instructions. Not sure what they were, but I think we can all agree RDA's got some work to do. Trying to find out. so I think they'll tell him to throw the left.
Oh! Big left hand by Rafael Dos Anjos.
Covington took it well, though.
He certainly did. We got to remember, Dos Anjos is known for his conditioning. And if anybody's going to bounce back in between rounds, he absolutely knows how to do it.
Difficulties, he's generally had a volume attack, but I think he needs one big one to get back in this fighter. One shot that's going to open up that combination and get Colby Covington backing off.
Good shots to the body there. Then Colby gets him down again. Nope, back up to his feet.
16 takedown attempts already. Now one from Dos Anjos.
Look at this.
Got him.
Oh, now things get very interesting. Very interesting. Because he has a crushing top game. And a legit black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This is a dangerous place to be for Colby Covington.
Rafael Dos Anjos in front choke position. Curious if he's going to stay there, try to spin around to the back, or if he's going to use this. Right now, not really committing to either one.
Well, it's imperative that he control position. Yep. He's got to hold him here. He's got to keep his weight on top of him.
And it's the first time Colby Covington's been in a position that's going to cost him some energy.
Yeah.
Rafael Dos Anjos on top of him.
Look at this, Colby back up.
Dos Anjos, another shot, good entry.
Legs attached again, look at that. Wow. That's big.
Colby, no sprawl even, almost no defense.
Caught him off guard.
This is the first time
big deep breath.
Covington's career that he has seen a fourth round as we approach the 3-minute mark.
Wow, looks like Colby's running out of energy now.
Yeah, for sure. Big breath there by Colby. And Dos Anjos really turning it on now. Very interesting.
Leaning on that 5-round championship experience here late. Dos Anjos has struggled with big physical takedown artist types. Gleison Tibau, Khabib Nurmagomedov back in 2014.
We've been talking about finishes, but if Rafael Dos Anjos wants to win this fight on a decision, he's got to take this round and the next round at least.
Very likely he's down 2 rounds. The first round was close.
Yep.
First round could have gone to Dos Anjos. We'd have to go back and watch it again and score it, which is really something you can't do while you're doing commentary. You can see obvious rounds, but this is big right here. This is a big shift.
No margin for error from here on out at all.
Yeah, it's too close.
Yeah.
Especially with wacky judging.
For Colby Covington, you don't have a lot of margin of error either. He has to make a dominant statement in rounds 4 and 5 as well.
Under 2 minutes in the round, confidence growing for the former lightweight champ Dos Anjos. Covington may have thought he broke him earlier.
And now Dos Anjos is moving more. Moving more side to side. Not just backing straight up.
Cannot afford to get caught against the fence like this.
And cannot afford to get taken down and beaten up. Now he's spinning away. There he goes.
Not the power. Yeah, not the power and the persistence he had in the first 3 rounds.
Colby stuffs it. Colby has him pressed up against the cage now. Some blood coming off his forehead or the bridge of the nose of Dos Anjos.
Very different round so far in round 4 for Rafael Dos Anjos. Wow. Look at that. Dead even, significant strikes.
Covington with a nice combination there.
Oh, he's swinging.
Good counter right from Dos Anjos. Covington with a level change here. Under a minute now to go in round 4. Covington with a right hand out of the break. Nice uppercut by Covington. And a counter left from Dos Anjos.
Man, still throwing with volume is Colby Covington.
And Covington with a leg. Gets the single. Dos Anjos on his back. No bueno.
Yeah, not what Dos Anjos was looking for late in this 4th.
He hears the claps. Let's see if he can reverse it before the 10 seconds is up.
Deep half. I don't think he has time to use it, though.
No, he's not even going to try. He's going to conserve.
20 minutes down, 5 to go.
Very interesting.
And this is a left hand right in the beginning of the round, right on the chin. Colby Covington, though, showing that he can take a shot. And then look at this double leg. Great timing. No sprawl from Colby Covington. Takes him right down. He got 2 in a row. Guard pass, but couldn't hold him down.
2 minutes. Catch your breath, okay?
Close fourth round.
Legs. Focus. Use the legs. Hands up, chin down, and just move on in the first minute and a half. Catch your breath. Good.
1 round world champion. 1 round and you are world champion.
5 minutes.
Put this guy on his ass. Lock those hands on that double. You get to the cage, you lock your hands and close those elbows.
I want you to blast him in the middle of the center of the ring, out against the cage. Use your energy in the middle.
Be ready for his shot. Be ready. He's going to shoot again.
5 minutes.
You saw Colby Covington's best friend, UFC veteran Jorge Gamebred Masvidal there in the corner. Some conservatism in that message a little bit in terms of what he wants Covington to do defensively. Gotta think that ATT corner thinks they have the lead. I don't know.
We could very well, though, be looking at 2-2 here.
Yeah, certainly possible.
Certainly possible.
Both fighters need to fight like they need this 5th round, regardless of what everyone on social media thinks, what the judges think. They have to fight like they have to have this 5th round. No one can back off.
And right now, Colby's the one who's doing that. He's locked on Dos Anjos' back here.
Boy, he started the first couple rounds. Clinch, looking for the 1 hook.
Dos Anjos separating those hands. See if he can pop those hips and get out of there.
Whatever Rafael Dos Anjos has, he has to spend it in this 5th round.
Dos Anjos trying to join Randy Couture, BJ Penn, George St. Pierre, and Conor McGregor as the only 2-division champions in UFC history.
Oh, look at that. Went for the Jeremy Stevens.
Came close, but just grazed him. Not enough to hurt him. Certainly not enough to finish the fight. Colby Covington still coming at him.
Colby gets the takedown. Look at this.
You can love him or hate him, probably hate him, but Colby Covington is doing what he said he was going to do, which is make this fight about cardio, conditioning, and wearing Rafael Dos Anjos down. He stuck to that strategy.
And he'll love it if you hate him. So either way, he wins.
That's the same, man. Don't ignore me, I guess.
Yeah. If he wins the fight, either way he wins. If he wins and you hate him, he wins because he wants you to hate him.
Dos Anjos has worked the body to great effect tonight. Not as many of those patented low leg kicks, in part because of the takedown proficiency of Colby Covington.
Well, Colby's got 1 so far this round. Dos Anjos got to separate here.
In that Kimura position, you can't use it with the head on the same side. Very hard to use.
Yeah, I don't know what he's trying to do there. I think he's just trying to threaten and make Colby move. But Colby's sticking to him like glue. Dos Anjos got to separate. He's trying to get those hands free.
Good pressure, good pressure.
This is a position we've seen pretty much since the first round. Colby Covington moving forward. Making it his kind of fight, his kind of game, his kind of pacing.
So important to have a great referee like Herb Dean in a fight like this, too. And he's telling him to work in here, but he's letting him work.
Some sort of protest there from Colby Covington. Oh, big left from Chaos. Just over 2 minutes to go. Outstanding championship fight thus far.
Need those legs, need those legs. Come up top, get your head out of there. There you go, come up top.
Dos Anjos yet to really threaten with any submissions. Briefly got on top, but
and Colby's got him pressed up against the cage for the first 3 minutes of the fight,
where he hasn't been able to use any of his tools, any of his offensive weapons.
Now he's circling around the center. Well, he's got to make something happen. There he goes. Made an attempt. He caught him with the right hand. He needs more of that. And for Colby, he needs more of this. Look at that. More pressure. Bam. Keep him backing up.
Right.
Oh, nice left. Just clipped him. Colby stuffed that one.
Yeah, he's expecting the takedown now. Caught him twice. He's a little bit more prepared for it.
Colby just in perpetual forward motion. To your point, Joe, just not a lot of breathing room for the opposition.
It's a great way to fight a guy like Dos Anjos. It really is. This is a real learning lesson. Because you see how styles fall apart under tremendous pressure.
Or how there's a style for every style.
Yeah.
And this is the style, definitely, to be the guy like Dos Anjos who needs that range to throw volume punches. He hasn't had his range.
And I'm not saying that Dos Anjos is falling apart. I'm just saying that he has not been able to do what he wants to do. He's going for that Kimura again. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. Lost it.
Can't keep it.
40 seconds now to go to determine the UFC's interim welterweight champ.
They're swinging.
Covington with a right.
Oh man, this is crazy.
And Colby Covington, though, not backing off when it comes to these striking exchanges. He was landing well, now going for the takedown.
This is an exhausting fight here.
And yet, pretty good output on both sides here in this fifth and final round.
Nice kick to the body.
And a left hand from Covington. Wow. Outstanding championship fight between Colby Covington and Rafael Dos Anjos. They are all chasing the undisputed UFC welterweight king Tyron Woodley, who somewhere in the 314 is likely watching this tonight.
And Covington, his wrestling, his pressure were absolutely problems for Rafael Dos Anjos. Rafael had his moments in the fight, particularly when he utilized his wrestling. He got some good strikes off, but it was just hard for him to set up with Colby's constant pressure.
He was always adjusting to the range that Colby Covington was setting by coming forward, making it about the clinch, never falling for that big shot. That was probably the best punch of the whole fight. Colby Covington took it, kept moving forward. And Dos Anjos, a couple takedowns, but after those two, he was ready for that shot coming in. And man, that exchange at the end, both guys trying to put the exclamation point on this fight. But Colby Covington, I thought, found the kind of fight he wanted to fight. He imposed it on Rafael Dos Anjos.
So we go inside the numbers, all of these unofficial distance strikes for Dos Anjos. Clinch strikes, of course, for Colby Covington. He landed 7 of 23 takedown attempts. Covington, obviously the advancing party for most of this fight. Now, we've talked a lot about Dos Anjos increasing his significant strike rate as a welterweight, 88%. Colby Covington unofficially threw 355 total strikes here tonight, 257 for Rafael Dos Anjos. Constant activity from Covington here tonight. We'll see if it was enough to lead as the UFC's interim welterweight champion. To that end, the official decision brought to you by Metro PCS, bringing you closer than ever to the UFC on a fast nationwide LTE network. Bruce Buffer with that official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. The judges score the contest 49-46, 48-47, and 48-47 for the winner by unanimous decision. And now, the new interim UFC welterweight champion, Colby Chaos Covington.
What? I am here with the winner and new interim welterweight champion, Colby Covington. How does that sound?
First off, Joe Rogan, all I want to say is this is a real championship belt. I'm going to do what a real American should do. I'm bringing this belt to the White House, and I'm putting it on Donald Trump's desk. And secondly, Joe, Tyron Woodley, you're a freaking coward. Why'd you let this little filthy animal take this ass whooping tonight? This is supposed to be you. You can't run, you can't hide no more, Tyron Woodley. I'm coming for you. Let me say this is the real championship belt, Tyron Woodley. If you got something to say, come see me, bitch.
This was a very impressive performance tonight, Colby. You fought a world champion, a real world-class fighter, and proved that you're not just talking in there, you're shutting down games and imposing yours.
No one can stop my will, Joe. No one can go 25 minutes with here. Tyron Woodley knows that. Last time we trained, I melted him. He was done after 2 rounds. The same thing will happen when I unify my belt.
Well, that will be next. Congratulations. Congratulations and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the new interim welterweight champion, Colby Covington.
Looking for Dan Lambert, who said the most difficult task in sports is to develop an MMA fighter from scratch and turn him into a UFC champion. Mission accomplished. The second homegrown champion out of the American Top Team. Of course, the first, Tyron Woodley, who will be Colby Covington's next opponent. How about it?
Dude, you have to respect that performance and what he did to Rafael Dos Anjos, a world-class fighter at 170 pounds. The pacing, the wrestling, the cardio, he turned up the heat and stayed there. That's impressive.
Congratulations to Colby Chaos Covington, the new UFC interim welterweight champion. Well, 4 weeks from tonight, we will be back on pay-per-view from Las Vegas, and on that Saturday night, July 7th, inside T-Mobile Arena, one way or another, history will be made.
We have got some massive news. Stipe Miocic versus Daniel Cormier for the heavyweight world title.
We're in a world of super fights, and this is the fight that every champion dreams of, is to fight another champion.
Co-main event, the most anticipated fight in this featherweight division. Max Holloway is now the hunted, taking on the undefeated up-and-comer Brian T. City Ortega.
This is the biggest challenge of Holloway's career by far.
2 title fights for the biggest event of the year.
They call the heavyweight champ the baddest man on the planet. I've become the heavyweight champion and the light heavyweight champion. I'm not only the baddest man on the planet, I may be the greatest fighter of all time, holding 2 belts. That's history.
He comes for broke, and I go for broke. We're gonna go out there and lay it on the line. I'll walk out with the belt still wrapped on my waist. Nothing's gonna change. And still.
Legacy stays forever. Everything else fades away.
He's a hungry lion, I'm a hungry lion, and it's time to feast.
I position myself to be on the biggest fight card of the year, and the whole world's watching. Hell is gonna break loose.
I'm a better fighter than Stipe.
I have nothing to prove. I just like shutting people out.
I feel like it's time to start taking over.
There's guys yelling that it's their time, but when we get in an octagon, it's a different story.
I'm not leaving without that belt.
Come get me. I dare you.
Made to be legend.
I'm very excited about this card. First of all, the main fight, Stipe Miocic versus Daniel Cormier, is a true super fight. The light heavyweight champ versus the heavyweight champ. And what's interesting about it is Daniel Cormier is undefeated as heavyweight. Daniel Cormier won the Strikeforce Heavyweight Grand Prix. Daniel Cormier is a stud wrestler. And if there's going to be a style that's going to be able to defeat Stipe, it's a guy who can close that distance and get Stipe down to the ground. Not an easy task. Stipe, of course, has a background in wrestling himself. Knockout power. And he is, on paper, for sure, the best heavyweight of all time. He has proven it. He has earned that. He defended the title more than anybody. He's fought former champions. He has reigned supreme. And it's a difficult title to defend. Stipe's defended it 3 times. Then you got Max Holloway versus Brian Ortega, which is chaos. Max Holloway is one of my favorite champions. He's such an interesting guy. And we've had a chance to watch this guy grow and develop to the guy that we saw in his last fight where he just destroyed Jose Aldo in the rematch. And Brian Ortega might have some of the best jiu-jitsu in MMA today. And his boxing's outstanding as well.
It's hard to imagine it could get any bigger than UFC 226. 4 weeks from tonight, July 7th, when the MMA leader returns to pay-per-view. But now live from United Center in Chicago, it is time for the main event for UFC 225, Whittaker versus Romero 2. Presented by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. Well, just about a year ago, Robert Whittaker and Yoel Romero delivered an instant classic. Tonight, they lock up again. as the Soldier of God looks to even the score with the undisputed champ.
My goal isn't to be champion, it's to be the best in the world that has ever lived. I'm constantly working harder than anyone else, and I was born to be one of the best fighters in the world. And I feel to be the best in the world, you need to beat everyone. I'm just gonna plow my way through everyone if I have to.
Que no importa lo que pase, tienes que seguir hacia adelante, porque con el aquel, con el afán de conseguir tu meta. Y aprendí mucho después de la pelea con Robert Whittaker, que cuando se está ganando, ve y destruye. No des chance, no des margen a que el oponente.
Robert Whittaker versus Yoel Romero, the rematch of an outstanding fight for the title before.
You want to talk about a guy that's athletic. Yoel Romero does stuff inside the octagon that makes grown men look like children.
40 years old and moves like a guy that's half his age. Unbelievable Olympic caliber wrestling and devastating power.
Huge elbows! That's it!
He can look relaxed, like he's not paying attention, and then bam!
Flying knee, he knocks him out. That's it, this fight's over.
Yoel Romero has beaten everyone in the division but Robert Whittaker.
Robert Whittaker is one of the best strikers in the UFC's talent-stacked middleweight division. Legitimate one-strike knockout power.
Two early knockouts for Whittaker. As far as he goes. Robert Whittaker with a head kick. Down goes Brunson.
Oh, and he goes down with a knee. He goes down with a knee.
Robert Whittaker.
The thing about Yoel Romero is he's strong, he's explosive, athletic, but he has a problem with his pacing. And Robert Whittaker last time made him fight for 5 rounds. The question is, can he do it again against an evolving fighter? Coming off his knockout win over Luke Rockhold, Yoel Romero is full of confidence right now.
Hemos trabajado bastante haciendo énfasis en los errores que tuvimos en la pelea pasada y la sangre va a correr. Es lo que te puedo prometer. La sangre va a correr.
It doesn't matter if he has improved or not. I'm going in there a better Robert Whittaker and I'm going to be a handful. I almost feel bad for him. I've got 25 minutes to look for a finish and that's what I'm going there to do.
The 2000 Olympic silver medalist in freestyle wrestling and the #1 UFC middleweight contender, the Soldier of God, Yoel Romero. He has the unfortunate distinction, Joe, of being the only fighter in UFC history to miss weight twice for a UFC championship fight. Unfortunately, the belt is not on the line for him tonight. All of that said, this man brings a whole lot to the table.
He's a scary, scary human being and just a freak of an athlete, but did not do his job preparing for this fight in terms of cutting weight. Came in 5 pounds heavier the week of the fight than he was when he didn't make weight for the Rockhold fight, which is just crazy. Almost made it, but did not make it because the commission pulled him off the scale.
Tonight's Prep Point is brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925.
The combination he's walking in with couldn't be a whole lot worse. What I mean is, he went through the cut. He was hating life. He was miserable, and he only got a 0.2-pound advantage. It's not like he has a 6-7 pound advantage. Didn't go through a cut. He went through the whole cut. The belt's not on the line, and he doesn't have a significant weight advantage.
And
that's
he loses 30% of his purse to Robert Whittaker.
In the first fight, he landed just 4 of his 18 takedown attempts against Robert Whittaker. We mentioned that Whittaker's leg was compromised early. Very interesting backdrop to this fight. The betting line far more pronounced than the first fight. Whittaker about a -250 favorite tonight. But for Yoel Romero, if he wins tonight, Dana White has said maybe moves up and is in a title eliminator at light heavyweight. We'll see how it goes for Romero tonight. Representing Sydney, Australia, the undisputed UFC middleweight champion Robert Whittaker at 27 years old. He is on the mountaintop, and yet he has not even arrived at his fighting prime.
He really hasn't. I mean, he's a fantastic mixture of traditional martial arts schools with of skills with a black belt in Hapkido, black belt in karate, brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and then overall MMA training. Let's put all those things together with fantastic wrestling takedown defense. And that's one of the things we saw in the first fight with Yoel Romero. Even with a bum knee, after he got his knee kicked out in the first round, still stuffed a tremendous amount of takedowns against one of the very best wrestlers in the sport. And his striking is laser beam precision accurate.
The one thing he talked about face-to-face was, I'm not injured this time. The camp was great. I feel great. I went in there not even close to 100%, and look what he did. The fact that he's physically peaking right now, to me, is absolutely huge, because tactically, last time, he had the answer for Yoel Romero's game. Combine that with a guy who's 100% physically, might have an even better performance tonight. We'll see.
He was supposed to make his first title defense in February in Perth, Australia, had a nasty staph infection in his stomach that put his career in jeopardy. So here he is returning from an extended layoff here tonight. All indications are he has added a lot of different layers to his game. This is a fighter that goes in there to finish.
Yeah, he has used the recovery time to excel. While he's been waiting to get back into the cage, he's been able to train various aspects of his game and improve all of them. He's a very, very interesting guy. I really like the way he fights. I don't think he fights like anybody else in this division, and he's a handful for everyone. What's also interesting is he came in this week on Tuesday, weighed 189 pounds. So he is fully ready, zero compromise because of the weight cut. His cardio will be off the charts.
We've seen an elevation in terms of the number of kicks Robert Whittaker has thrown of late. He's expecting a heavy wrestling and clinch attack from the opponent here tonight. This tail of the tape for our main event is brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. Massive discrepancy, of course, in terms of age. Whittaker, the Aussie, 27. The Cuban Romero is 41. You see Romero highlighted there, did miss weight by 2 ounces. Therefore, that belt is not on the line for him here tonight. Now for the introductions, here is Bruce Buck.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. Presented by Modelo, sanctioned by the Illinois State Athletic Commission. Director Nancy Ilg. Our 3 judges scoring this contest at octagon side are Sal D'Amato, Brian Pacillo, and Chris Fleed. And when the action begins, our referee in charge of the octagon, Dan Mergliata. This bout is sponsored by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925, and Metro PCS, bringing you closer than ever to the UFC on a pound-for-pound great network that covers 99% of people in the U.S. And Motel 6, ready to tap out? Check into Motel 6 and save. We'll leave the light on for you. Book online at motel6.com. And For those in attendance and UFC fans watching around the world, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Live from the sold-out United Center in Chicago, Illinois. It's time! 5 rounds in the UFC middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 13 wins, 2 losses. He stands 6 feet tall, weighing in at 185.2 pounds. Fighting out of Coconut Creek, Florida, by way of Pinar del Rio, Cuba, presenting the 2000 Olympics freestyle wrestling silver medalist and the #1 ranked middleweight contender in the world, presenting Yoel, Soldier of God, Romero. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 20 wins, 4 losses. He stands 6 feet tall, weighing in at 185 pounds. Fighting out of Sydney, Australia, presenting the UFC middleweight champion of the world, Robert the Reaper Whittaker.
Yoel.
All right, gentlemen, we've been through the rules in the locker room. I want you to obey my commands at all time. I want you to take yourselves at all time. You just touch gloves. Good luck to both of you. Good fight.
Standing room only at United Center in Chicago, Illinois. The undisputed UFC middleweight champion, Robert Whittaker. And the #1 contender, Yoel Romero.
All right, round 1, sir, you ready? You, sir, ready. Let's go, fight.
And with that touch of gloves, we are underway. Tonight's Fight Clock is brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. Romero in red, Whittaker in the black and gold, befitting a champion.
And right away, Whittaker doing to Romero what Romero did to him, attacking that front leg with a side kick, trying to hyperextend that knee.
What he did so well in the first fight was use that power side. The straight right hand, the straight right kick. Always keeping Romero guessing with that.
Romero has only been finished once as a pro in MMA. That was Fei Zhao back in 2011.
This, I think, is an underrated part of Romero's game, is that defense. Luke Rockhold threw some leg kicks. His shin started bleeding. So it was like hitting steel.
Whittaker working off of that jab early. His coaches all talk about his adaptability and his ability to make adjustments mid-fight. Romero covers up to avoid that left hook offering from Whittaker.
That's one thing Romero does, man. He kind of sets this timing. You don't expect anything, and suddenly he explodes. He fights in spurts.
He loves it. Yep.
Romero has yet to throw a strike. There's a big left.
First strike is not a jab.
Slip by Whittaker. About 2 minutes gone by here in round 1.
Jesus.
Everything he throws is like a grenade going off.
Well, he's definitely got an idea. He's thrown 2 of those. What he's trying to do is connect with a bomb.
One thing Robert Whittaker did that impressed me a lot in the first fight is he tended to fight very tall. And what I mean by that is he was never in position for a flying knee to catch him. He'd always kind of chin tuck. He would stay a little bit straighter to avoid the explosive flying knee of Yoel Romero. He's very quick with that.
Well, Romero has such a weird style of like slow motion movement combined by superhuman speed. When when you combine those two, it's just so hard to figure out what's coming. Ooh, nice shot over the top. Caught him in the ear.
And Whittaker continues to attack that lead leg with that side kick. A lot of Romero's finishes have materialized late. The UFC record 6 third-round knockouts for the Soldier of God.
Oh, there's that left hand again.
As we mentioned, an uptick in the kicking game of Whittaker over his last several fights.
I like the way Whittaker's keeping that jab in his face, always giving him something to worry about.
Whoa.
Now, win or lose tonight, Robert Whittaker will remain the undisputed UFC middleweight champion.
That's a hard pill to swallow for Romero.
And if you think Whittaker would be happy walking out here with the belt after a loss, you don't know Robert Whittaker. He really wants to win this fight. That does not take any pressure off of him that he keeps his belt.
Body kick is there for the champion. Under a minute now to go round one. Romero keeping that guard hot. Romero misses with the left hand counter.
So far, no even attempts at the takedown. It's all about that left hook. Shortened into an elbow there, but using that left side.
Interesting that he's choosing to do that. And he's staying almost entirely orthodox. Oh. There's some power to that.
And that is the same left knee and leg that Whittaker injured so early on in that first fight. Had an MCL injury going in that was compounded by Romero.
Keep an eye on Romero's right hand because he's not throwing many right hand punches.
Woo! Deep breath, Joe. Deep breath. All right. We all just held our breath right there.
That just punched the hole through time.
Sonic boom right there in the middle of the octagon.
Deep breathe. Deep breathe. Deep. Look what's happening. He felt the weight cut. He's looking for one big shot. Okay? He's looking for one big shot. Justin.
Rock, use your feints, use your speed jab. Your speed jab's there, and when you punch straight down the middle, if he's got that high guard, come around a little bit, come around the side.
Está bien, está abajo arriba.
You're doing good in the bottom. You're doing good in the bottom. Go to the top. Give me the combination in the top. When he comes in, hit him with the back. When he comes in, go into him to win. It's all yours.
How about Kelvin Gastelum? You would think among the more interested observers here tonight. And Chris Weidman a few seats down with a win over Kelvin Gastelum his last time out. So perhaps Whittaker's next opponent will come out of those two tonight. The task is Yoel Romero.
That side kick again. He's sliding in nicely with that front leg side kick to the front leg. Whoa.
What's important to keep in mind is Yoel Romero for years, for his entire life, has done a sport where you have to explode for a 3-minute period. It rewards you for explode for a couple minutes, get your energy back, explode again. He's adapted that cardio pacing to his MMA career. That's how he fights, in spurts. Robert Whittaker keeps the pressure on. Always with the jab, a little more efficient with his pacing. Yoel Romero, way more explosive, in a good and bad way.
Interesting defensive tactic here with that forearm.
Yeah, he's fighting very strange. And you got to wonder how compromised he is by that weight cut. Robert Whittaker's corner brought it up. He looked terrible yesterday. He looked terrible after he had a chance to partially rehydrate and do the ceremonial weigh-in. He looked bad.
But I would be very careful as Robert Whittaker's corner to say, hey, look, In Perth, Australia, he looked awful. Perth, Australia, had a horrible weight cut. Perth, Australia, he knocked out Luke Rockhold in a similar way. It was kind of like he was just standing there, then boom, boom, bang. Don't sleep on this guy. Don't think he's weak or compromised. That's what he wants you to think. Right. I would tell him that as well.
Well, Whittaker certainly isn't sleeping on Romero, but he expected a different approach. You know, at this point in the first fight, he had already attempted 8 or 10 takedowns. Hasn't attempted a single one.
Yeah, he's fighting very strange.
Right after this main event, don't miss a recap of all of tonight's action from Chicago on the FS1 UFC 225 post-fight show. It also streams live on Fox Sports Go in Canada. You can find it on TSN.
If I'm Whittaker's corner, I say, I don't care if he starts flying in there. You stay behind the jab. I don't care what he does, it's weird and unorthodox. Stay behind the jab, stick with your game plan, keep picking him apart from the outside.
Whittaker's doing a great job with that front leg. Front kick to the body, side kick to the knee. He's just constantly sticking him with that front leg.
And points those toes into the midsection. Doesn't look like fun.
Zavat-style kicks, they suck. Toes right in your midsection.
Romero starting to attack the body pretty well. Whittaker returns fire effectively.
The way Yoel's fighting, it's like he has to win by knockout.
How about the swelling, Joe and Jimmy, on that right eye? Nearly shut.
It looks almost closed.
And that's very quick. That happened very quickly. Wow, that looks terrible.
Yep.
Look how fast that happened, too.
He can't even see out of it.
Wow. That is stunning how quickly that swelled up. Just out of nowhere.
Wow. Looks like it might have been a jab on that side. Just clip the bone right around the eye.
And this is going to give a sense of urgency to Yoel, for sure. Because that is so bad, that could stop a fight.
But also depth perception. Once it's going, it's hard to get your strikes going.
Big high kick from the champion.
And you haven't seen one commitment to the takedown from Romero. That's stunning. Especially something he doesn't need great depth perception to do. Exploding to the double leg or single leg.
Man, that eye is done. It's totally closed. And it was almost instantaneous. And it's getting worse. Usually when you see something like that, you think fractured orbital.
Almost every time.
Romero starting to throw caution to the wind here, perhaps thinking that eye might not last 25 minutes tonight.
It's crazy how you can get hit with 100 punches and that never happens. You just get hit with one weird one, that eye shuts up.
Ooh. From what we're seeing on replay from our producers, looks like a jab. Not even a big shot, just the placing was right.
Romero's landed a few significant strikes here.
Nice inside trip, not getting it.
Yoel is fighting with much more urgency now. Like that eye just lit a fire under him.
And the cut man can't get in there soon enough to attend to that right eye of Yoel Romero, who eats another jab here late round 2. All right, right into the blue corner of Yoel Romero.
Dígale. Sí. Atiéndeme acá. Suéltate más, suéltate. Suéltate más. Y hazle todas las cosas que tú estás haciendo. No puedes irle más para atrás.
Get loose, stop going back.
No estás trabajando en el cuento. Cada vez que tire, suéltale. Cada vez que tire, suéltale.
Every time he throws to you, throw back.
Y la rodilla saltando está ahí.
¿Cuándo viene? ¿Cuándo viene la rodilla?
Bajando las manos y la quijada.
Ya le cogiste con la rodilla.
You already got him with the knee.
Now this is the jab that may have caused that swelling. Look at it right here, right against the bone on the right side. Then here's a head kick. Listen to it in real time. Check it out. Sounds like a home run.
Yeah.
Wow. Now he blocked it. Good stuff.
Partially right.
It shows you that's the power he has in that leg, and Romero felt it.
his eye looks much better. He did a great job with that end split.
Fantastic.
Really pushed that down well. It's still a big problem, though. Oh! Robert Whittaker wants revenge for that jacked up knee.
Great kick. Look at this switch right through the center. I think Robert Whittaker's fighting with much less fear of the takedown.
Oh! Massive right for Romero! Whittaker forced a retreat here.
Desperation time now. Trying to take down the Olympian, the Olympic silver medals with a single leg. You know he is hurt when he's going that Kimura trap. Champ's in big trouble.
Big deep breath from Robert Whittaker, trying to stay upright here. Crazy start to this third round. And a definite window of opportunity for Romero, who lands an uppercut.
Oh! Robert Whittaker with an elbow.
That forced a level change from Romero, who lands again. Back and forth we go.
Nobody backing up. They are forehead to forehead throwing.
There is a lot of time left in this round, and Yoel Romero just emptied the gas tank.
But Robert Whittaker rocked. Absolutely rocked. You cannot doubt that at all. He's eating some big shots.
No question, but he wasn't compromised coming into this fight by a brutal weight cut.
That may be the difference. That may certainly be the difference right now.
Elbow for Whittaker lands flush. Under 3 minutes.
Still staying on top of him, though.
Only Robert Whittaker knows how badly he was hurt and how much he's gotten back. Nice spinning elbow. Just when it looked like it was going Robert Whittaker's way. Man, that's the power of Yoel Romero. Right back in this fight. Unbelievable.
But man, he is gassed.
Right.
Big knee to the body by Whittaker.
Look at that jaw hanging open.
He's just taking a breather here. Yep.
Romero had a body lock briefly. 2 minutes to go in the round. Woo!
Oh my goodness. My heart can't take it. This is a crazy fight.
We need a medic for Joe Rogan, but we're not going to stop watching.
Jab.
No way. Wow.
Left hand for Romero.
Whittaker's got to move his head and survive another minute and a half. He needs that minute, in my opinion.
Oh!
Because he is hurt.
Oh!
Romero with punches and bunches here. Whittaker forced to circle out.
This is crazy.
Head kick for Whittaker now. One of the best rounds of the year to date, and there's still a minute to go.
Both of these fighters refusing to go down. Somehow they're staying on their feet. Wow.
And perhaps out of exhaustion, Whittaker goes down, now back up.
I think this break benefits Whittaker a little bit more. I know Romero's tired, but personally, I'd rather be tired than rocked. Whittaker is definitely rocked.
They are all standing here inside United Center. Big deep breath from Yoel Romero as we count down the final seconds of the round. Unbelievable turn of events. As Yoel Romero stuns Robert Whittaker early round 3. The corners have some work to do.
Wow. Oh my goodness, what a fight.
Hope your heart's doing all right, buddy, because you got some replays.
Oh, Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you, honey. All right, here we go. Boom! And that's the one. Look at that. On the jaw. Big uppercut. And Yoel just all over him here. Emptied it out. Whittaker comes back with a nice elbow. Romero with a big jab. And here's the head kick. Boom! Yoel just eats it like a Tic Tac.
Elbow.
Craziness.
Right elbow.
Absolute craziness.
He's done now. Boxing him.
If in doubt, move out, mate. That's the job.
Let's go,
Whittaker continuing to look down at that right hand. He often says there's no better place to break a hand than inside the octagon. It is something he has dealt with in his MMA career. What an appreciation for these athletes who now enter the championship rounds. Of course, the middleweight championship not at stake for Yoel Romero after he missed weight here on Friday.
The big question going into this 4th round is, what did each fighter get back on the stool? Did Robert Whittaker clear his head? Is he recovered as much as he recovered from the damage he took last round? Did Yoel Romero get his energy back?
Yoel's looking to spin. You can see him setting it up.
Yep.
You see him loading his hips.
Woo!
He went to do it right there and he got caught with a kick.
Perhaps Romero just trying to get an extended rest here. Hasn't thrown much through the round's first minute.
All going to that side that he cannot see. That right eye badly swollen. That's where he's kicking.
Nice jab by Whittaker. He has stayed committed to that weapon all night.
Oh, serious hyperextension on that knee. I mean, he has really taken to attacking that.
And that not at all what Whittaker's looking for, a groin strike that pauses the action.
And Yoel most likely
I know it was
take
accidental,
nice,
but it was a good shot. I tried to bring it up a little.
deep rest period here.
A heel to the cup.
Accidental.
Dan Murgliata says it was accidental. And as many of you know, Romero will have 5 minutes with which to recover. If I'm his corner, man, I'm screaming, take your damn time, right?
All of it. Everything you can.
Who's a translator?
Who's the translator?
You?
I mean, he can take as much time as he likes here, which is interesting. He has 5 minutes, correct?
Yes.
Yep. So he can decide to just wait this out.
100. Don't expect the booze to get to him.
Right.
Okay?
No.
You get time.
No, I mean, he's wrestled internationally in some of the most hostile territories.
The toes and then the heel came up as well. And of course, on the other side, Robert Whittaker
Yoel.
is able to rest and recover as well.
It was accidental. Just touch gloves. Good job. All right. Ready. It's time.
Back underway here in this 4th round. Under 3.5 to go. And they really did manage the swelling under Romero's eye well. Not nearly the factor it was earlier. Triple jab there from Whittaker. Romero ducks underneath that head kick attempt.
Once again, you got to wonder about that right hand. He's doing almost exclusively left.
Yeah, Whittaker is not throwing that right here anymore. Yeah. It's most likely broken.
You said the best place to break your hand is in the octagon. I totally disagree. I can think of 100 places I'd rather break my hand than with Yoel Romero staring at me trying to knock me out. Just throwing that out there.
It's going to be interesting to see if his corner's picked up on it.
Right, the Romero corner, yeah.
Yeah, because it seems obvious now. He's just not throwing it. I mean, he's clearly favored.
The Romero, couple left kicks right on that right arm wouldn't hurt.
The fact that he's doing what he's doing, probably one-handed, is amazing.
One leg last time, one hand tonight for Whittaker. Oh, good body shot from Romero. Whittaker has landed 36 leg kicks. 2 minutes to go, round 4. Whittaker did throw that right hand over the top, but not much on it.
Here's corner saying, just throw it.
He just threw it right there.
Good left hand counter from the champion. Romero not necessarily fighting this 4th round to win it, perhaps conserving for round 5, but landed there.
His ability to throw in volume, not there. He's at a couple, maybe 2 or 3. But he just hasn't had the gas to put together a sustained offense.
Elbow over the top.
Yeah, since that attack in the 3rd round.
Other than that round, no attempts at taking him down. Which is crazy when you consider that he's a wrestler of the highest caliber.
And how many he attempted in the first fight. Same opponent. Totally different physical strategy.
Just 6 total strikes landed for Romero in this round. His corner imploring him to move forward. From Romero, final seconds here in this 4th round.
Jesus.
Wow.
Wow. Wow, indeed.
Not a sustained attack, not a lot of combinations, but when he hits with power.
Mouth guard. Big breath. It's the last round. Stuff the right hand, throw it. It's the last round, man. You want 3 rounds, just this, be smart. Throw the right hand, stop it, let's do it.
Here are the big bombs at the end of the round. Yoel's backing up, clips him with that left hand. You see the legs go. Boom, and now look at this right hand. Bam!
And could you imagine if Yoel Romero had made weight and these 5 minutes would decide the undisputed UFC middleweight championship of the world, man? Crazy. So in the first fight, it was Romero getting off to a good start. Tonight, Whittaker got off to the good start, and Romero rallied.
Whittaker's been devastating with that front leg side kick to the knee.
Oh! 1-2 from Romero. And Whittaker just keeps on coming.
Every time Romero hits him, he hurts him. Because he had the energy to follow up and finish it.
Spinning back kick, that's crazy.
Every time he's gotten him hurt, he's had to kind of let him off the hook and regain his composure.
And by the way, this is a 41-year-old Olympian, 18 years after realizing an Olympic silver medal, taking on the young lion, the champion, who is 27. Oh! Snapping jab from Whittaker.
He's also probably one of the best representations of genetics the human race has ever known. So 41 don't really count when you're talking about a guy like that. I mean, they don't make a whole lot of them like that.
Bo Jackson, Yoel Romero.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the list right there.
Walker, Phelps.
Yeah, you know, if you guys are freaks, that's what this guy is.
Yeah, he's a freak amongst freaks. Jan Bergliot's getting to work out in here tonight, too.
Oh! Whittaker in a world of trouble here. Romero trying to capitalize.
Might be over.
Oh, Whittaker in real trouble. Just over 3 minutes to go.
Watch the elbow in the head, I'm gonna tell you again.
Whittaker still with it, still going for the takedown. Just wants a little bit of rest, trying to hide his head in this single leg position. He's got to move, he can't stay here. Incredible.
How about the fortitude and toughness for Whittaker trying to stay in this fight?
He is not safe yet, not by a long shot.
Yeah, we don't know how much he's recovered, but he's definitely had an opportunity while he's down here. Oh, big elbow, big knee rather.
Robert Whittaker right now is just fighting on guts and heart. That's it.
Romero able to kick his legs out from underneath him. Under 2 minutes now to go. Their first fight was a classic. Act 2, just as good, if not better.
Does he have it in him to explode and get out of this position?
Gotta be careful with the location of that knee.
They are right in front of us, and they are absolutely exhausted, folks.
On sheer will, Robert Whittaker gets back to his feet, spits out some blood. And kicked down once again by Romero.
What is Robert Whittaker made of? Because it is not flesh and bone like us. He is still in this fight. Unbelievable.
And the Romero corner just going crazy. Trying to get him to...
Romero has got to stop this fight.
Right.
You got to think he's most likely behind.
Hands up, hands up, hands up.
But you just got to wonder how much he's got left.
Back to the center of the octagon, just about 30 seconds to go in this fifth and final round of a fight that has had it all.
What is going to happen this last 20 seconds? Does Whittaker think he has it in the bag and stay behind the jab? Does Romero go for one final explosion for the finish?
Whittaker, push kick prevents that spinning attempt from Romero. Mixed martial arts, ladies and gentlemen. Robert Whittaker and Yoel Romero go the distance tonight.
Wow. Well, when it comes to scoring, this is going to be very interesting to score.
No outcome right now would surprise me, to be honest with you.
And you see Weidman and Uriah Faber talking first 2 rounds, maybe Whittaker.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Well, you got to think about the knockdowns. Those are huge. You got to think we're on the new scoring system. More likely to have 10-8 rounds.
Right.
Man. Yeah, right? I mean, Obviously, we've said this time and time again, Jimmy, when you're doing commentary on a fight, you really can't score accurately.
Yeah, it's tough.
But we know moments like that. Boom! That's a huge moment. Bigger than any moment Whittaker had in this fight. That's a big moment right there, but the impact was not the same in terms of the amount of damage that it did.
Right.
Boom, that one.
Romero had moments like this. Whittaker had the consistency in especially the early rounds. That to me is the decider. Is it those wow moments of Yoel Romero versus the consistent offense of Robert Whittaker?
I'm looking at 2 rounds that easily could be 10-8. I don't know if you could say that about Whittaker.
You cannot.
You cannot.
I wouldn't say any of those are close to 10-8.
So if you got 2 rounds where you're looking at 10-8, then it's the other 3 rounds you're looking at. Yeah, round 5 is
it's a blowout.
It's a blowout. It might be 10-7.
Crazy.
Well, the Yoel Romero corner and fighters certainly believe that they have done enough to win this fight tonight. The official decision is brought to you by Metro PCS, bringing you closer than ever to the UFC on a fast nationwide LTE network. One final time tonight, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. Saldi Amato scores the contest 48-47 Romero. Brian Paccio scores it 48-47 Whittaker. And Chris Lee scores the contest 48-47 for the winner by split decision, Robert Whittaker.
All right, I'm here with the winner, Robert Whittaker. Robert, very, very close fight. First of all, what happened to your hand, and did you break it somewhere during the fight?
Y'all must be bad luck, mate, because first round, I busted my hand. I cannot feel it up to here. It is absolutely brutal.
This was a very, very close fight. Obviously, by the split decision, when you were knocked down in those 2 rounds and hurt badly, did you think at the end of the fight that that was enough for Yoel to win?
Well, mate, I was in 2 minds to tell you that much. Fuck. He hits like a truck. I know he looks weak, but man, he packs some power, I tell you that much. He caught me in the 4th and the 5th, and I was just trying to survive, come back, hurt him on the way in.
At the end of the fight, what did you think the decision was going to be?
You know, it could have gone either way. I thought I hit him a lot. I thought I controlled 3 of the 5 rounds, but he did drop me in the 4th and the 5th, so it was anyone's guess, but it was tight. It was real tight.
This was such a good fight. What would you think would be next for you? Do you think that a rubber match would be required?
Say that again?
A rubber match, meaning a 3rd fight with Yoel?
I've got to see what the coaches say. I've got to let my body heal again. He was a tough fight. I'll tell you that much. He hits real hard. I'm just going to go back, increase my skill set again, talk to my team, and see where the journey takes us.
Well, it's always a pleasure to watch you compete. Congratulations on your decision. I'll grab your hand. Robert Whittaker, ladies and gentlemen. Yoel, this was an incredibly close fight. Robert, Yoel wants to shake your hand. Robert, he's got a broken right hand.
God bless you. Let's have a fight again.
It's my pleasure, my pleasure. My pleasure, brother.
Yoel, this was obviously a very, very close fight. A lot of people thought that you were going to get the decision based on those 2 rounds where you knocked him down and hurt him. What did you think at the end of the fight? Did you think you won?
The fresh. I want to do something. Hey, Chicago! Thank you so much for you coming tonight. The most important is that we stay together. Whatever, no matter what happens. Thank you for you coming tonight. Come on. I don't know in English,
I want to say in Spanish. Espero que hayan disfrutado de la pelea esta noche. Espero específicamente que hayan disfrutado mi pelea con Robert Whittaker tonight. I think it's my humble opinion, I not lose tonight. I not lose weight, I not lose tonight too. The commissioner, I don't know what happened, not give me the time for I call my way. Normally, tonight I take the belt. That's what I think is my humble opinion. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. United States and Chicago too.
Yoel, would you be open for a third fight with Robert Whittaker?
I know, I say, in the beginning when I come in here, many people ask me, say I have a problem in the rematch with Robert. I say, no matter what happened tonight, say I win, he won another one rematch. I say, rematch, I don't have a problem. 10 times rematch with him, my pleasure. I come in.
Thank you, sir, for an outstanding fight. Yoel Romero, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, based upon the scorecards, it would seem that none of the judges gave Yoel Romero a 10-8 in that 5th round, and if that's the case, I'm not sure what exactly would constitute a 10-8, but the split decision goes to the undisputed middleweight champion Robert Whittaker, who makes it 2 straight over Yoel Romero. UFC 225, Whittaker versus Romero 2 has been brought to you by Harley-Davidson. See your dealer today and learn to ride like some of your favorite UFC fighters with Harley-Davidson Riding Academy. Live your legend. And by Motel 6. When you're ready to tap out, check in at Motel 6 and save. We'll leave the light on for you.
UFC Fight Night Singapore, Cowboy Cerrone versus Leon Edwards. This is that perfect collision of the veteran who loves to finish, who still loves a wild fight, and the young guy coming up looking to make his name with real physical and technical ability and wants to have an entertaining opponent. Doesn't get better than that.
Oh, he knocked him down with a jab. Big right hand from Cerrone. Cowboy looking for the finish. And it's all over. Escape. Oh, he's out straight away. That's the end of the fight. Oh, my goodness. It is all over. Vicious body kick.
Cowboy Cerrone, Leon Edwards, the men on the marquee from Singapore, Saturday, June 23rd. This event live and exclusive to UFC Fight Pass. Not sure if Joe Rogan's up for a 5 a.m. Pacific Fight Companion, but make a note, it is 8 a.m. Eastern for the main card. Saturday, June 23rd. Big one at light heavyweight, Open St. Preux, Tyson Pedro. That is your 4-fight main card coming up Saturday, June 23rd. All right, so a lot to digest here. You know, we had one of baseball's great general managers, Theo Epstein, sitting next to us all night. And how do you go watch baseball after watching a fight like that is my question.
I agree. I couldn't agree more.
We don't call baseball. Yeah, so we agree with you completely.
But as far as the fight goes, Joe, as you were finishing up your interview, scorecards are what they are. Epic fight, but if that's not a 10-8 in round 5 for Yoel Romero, I'm not sure what is.
It doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. I don't understand that. I don't know who the judges were. I don't want to know. I've said many, many times, I think it's ridiculous that we have only 3 judges. I think we should have more, and I think they should be much better than they are.
I thought a draw was a real possibility, and the fact that no one judges one, I found surprising. I thought that was a real possibility when you were heading into the octagon.
I thought there could easily have been 2 10-8 rounds, easily.
Rounds
For sure,
4 and 5.
one. For sure, 1 10-8 round. So someone didn't score any of those 10-8.
So obviously this fight went decidedly different than the first meeting. Whittaker got off to a great start tonight, and Romero rallied big time early 4th round.
Romero for sure should have had at least 1 10-8. No one gave him a 10-8. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, look, Whittaker got off to a great start. That first round was phenomenal. He controlled the pace, but you know, I mean, for him, unluckily, he broke his hand early in the first round, which is really crazy.
A big question heading out of here is, look at the middleweight rankings. Yoel Romero, will he move up to 205? Will he stay at 185? Will a rematch be a possibility or a factor? That's a big question moving forward.
He can make 185. He just needs to get Lockhart or Mike Dolce or somebody early. He brought in George Lockhart on Tuesday.
Right.
That's crazy. You need to bring him in on Tuesday in March. Okay?
Right.
You
3 months at least.
You don't
3 months
start
at least.
now. You start way in advance, and you prepare for this the correct way. If he does that, he can make 185 pounds. He's done it before. But he's got to really commit to doing something like that if he wants to fight again for the title. I feel like we saw an amazing fight, but I feel like I got screwed.
Right.
I feel like there's something missing here. Not that the decision couldn't possibly have gone to Robert Whittaker, but it's just like, that was the score? Like, no one gave Romero a 10-8?
Right.
That seems like
that
someone was
fifth round
doing wrong.
is when you say what's a 10-8,
right?
I'd show him the 5th round of that fight and go, yeah, that's a 10-8. It was virtually a wipeout.
Well, I think the promotion would have some pause to give Yoel Romero another middleweight opportunity, having missed weight twice. He is also 0-2, at least in the record books, against the current champion. So to that end, we have...
Look, what you're saying about can he physically do it? Yes. It's the organization and us and Chicago and having faith that we're going to put you on that billboard and you're going to make it. Can he physically do it? Yes. But it's a big commitment by everybody else.
But let's also point out that he didn't miss the weight. They stopped him in the middle of making the weight. The commission here in Illinois decided he was cutting too much weight. Would they have done that in Vegas? I bet they wouldn't have. I bet in Vegas they would have let him make that weight. He would have made it. He would have got on the scale. And if we had better judges, we might have been looking at a draw, or we might have even been looking at a Romero decision.
Right. That's an important point, certainly, about the weight. Absolutely. And
a lot of questions.
I think there's a lot of people in the public out there that probably thought Yoel Romero won that fight tonight. And I'm not going to get into the scoring particulars, but there's an argument for a damn 10-7 in one of those rounds.
There is.
Based upon the new language.
There's absolutely an argument for a draw, and the audience clearly booed when that decision was announced.
So as for the co-main event tonight, Colby Covington is heading back to Coconut Creek, Florida, the UFC interim welterweight champion. He gets the better of Rafael Dos Anjos.
No questions in that fight. That fight was clear-cut, and it was clear-cut for Covington, and it was a very, very impressive performance by a guy a lot of people had questions about. And I think it's because of the fact that he talks so much trash, and he's clearly putting on a crazy act, but that crazy act is backed up by real fighting skills and phenomenal endurance.
What he did is he called his shot. At the interview, when we talked to him, he said, I'm going to wear him down. I'm going to make him about heart. I'm going to make him about guts. I'm going to set a pace that he can't keep up with. I'm going to mentally break him. I'm going to wear him down, blah, blah, blah. Say whatever you want. He went out there and did it, and that's the impressive part. He said how he was going to win this fight, and he did it. And he didn't fight in a way that I'm going to finish this guy and knock his teeth out. He hasn't been a great finisher. He fought to his strengths. That's smart.
And he overwhelmed a guy who's been dominant at 170 against guys like Robbie Lawler, against guys like Neil Magny, Tarek Safadine. I mean, Dos Anjos has looked like a killer at 170.
Right.
Colby Covington shut him down.
He's the real deal, and it'll be a welterweight unification bout next against the champion Tyron Woodley. To that end, Tyron Woodley has responded in kind. Bitch, please. I let you bump your gums. Now you got smoke. I'm exposing you. You were and always will be my warm-up round. You got the whole American top team backdrop to that one.
Yeah, hearing you say that is so worth it.
Versus top team.
Hearing you say that is just awesome. Here, having you read that tweet,
bitch, please.
So it just makes my night, man. You're awesome.
I got to work on my street cred, but Woodley hasn't lost in nearly 4 years.
Well, and what Woodley possesses that Colby doesn't is that one punch, go to sleep power. He's got crazy power. And ridiculous speed.
And what Woodley has that RDA didn't have is that Division I All-American takedown wrestling defense that can make that clinch much, much harder to use.
But Woodley in the past has had problems with his cardio. And this is a big weapon for Colby Covington.
Colby showed no issues with his gas at all. And he set a pace in the beginning. We thought there's no way he can keep that up for 5 rounds, and he pretty much did. Impressive stuff.
And I talked to Mike Brown from ATT in between round, or after the decision was announced, and he goes, he's a freak. I'm telling you, his cardio is crazy. And he goes, I think it's just something he was born with.
Yeah. Incredible night. The greatest sport in the world delivering as usual. Capacity crowd here in Chicago. Joe Rogan, Jimmy Smith, outstanding job.
A pleasure,
fellas.
gentlemen. Always a pleasure.
Always, brother. Great stuff.
Here's a look at what's coming up inside the Octagon. 2 weeks from tonight, an event live and exclusive on UFC Fight Pass. A welterweight headliner in the UFC's return to Singapore. Donald Cowboy Cerrone looks to continue building his Hall of Fame resume against Leon Edwards, a UK standout looking to crack the top 10. The main card begins at 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 a.m. Pacific on Saturday, June 23rd. A busy July begins Friday, July 6th from Las Vegas as Brad Tavares faces Israel Adesanya in the main event of the Ultimate Fighter finale on FS1. Then the following night, it is UFC 226 only on pay-per-view. 2 belts on the line. In the heavyweight super fight, Stipe Miocic faces 205-pound champion Daniel Cormier, plus Max Holloway and Brian T. City Ortega vie for the UFC featherweight title. It is UFC 226, Saturday, July 7th, 10 in the East, 7 in the West, on pay-per-view. You can watch the UFC 225 post-fight press conference at UFC.com. The UFC 225 post-fight show with Karen Bryant, Kenny Florian, Michael Bisping, Michelle Watterson, and Megan O'Leary is already underway on FS1. For those of you watching in Canada, you can flip it over to TSN as soon as we're done. Well, it was our first pay-per-view in Chicago, and man, did it deliver. The executive producers of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC President Dana White, Ari Emanuel, and Patrick Weitzel. Our executive VP of Operations and Production is Craig Borsari. Our coordinating producer is Zach Candido. Tonight's show has been produced by Lappy LaPlante and directed by the venerable Anthony Pasquale Giordano. Chicago, Illinois, proven to be a most worthy host city yet again tonight. Tai Tuivasa had to go the full 15, but he emerged on the scorecards and gets the biggest win of his career. A couple shoeys for good measure on the way out. That set the table for Megan Anderson and her UFC debut. It did not go her way against Holly Holm, proving yet again to be a factor in multiple divisions. Big win for the preacher's daughter here tonight. Colby Covington entered a hopeful. He leaves as the UFC's interim welterweight champion as he outlasts Rafael Dos Anjos to set up a date with his rival Tyron Woodley. And then in the main event, in all likelihood the fight of the night, Robert Whittaker and Yoel Romero go the distance. 2 of 3 judges had it for the undisputed middleweight champion Robert Whittaker, who makes it 2 straight over Romero and 9 straight overall. With that, for Joe Rogan, Jimmy Smith, and the rest, John Anik saying so long from Chicago. We will see you next month from the fight capital of the world for UFC 226. Good night.